Howdy, everybody. Sup? Do you have a topic for today, Andrew? How do you do this fine Tuesday afternoon on a podcast that airs on Thursdays? Probably.
Fine, I guess.
That's all we have time for today, folks.
This is my favorite Variety Hour show.
Variety Minute.
Yeah, Variety Minute.
So much variety. He made several consonant sounds and like, then stopped.
It's like 60 minutes, but far less political.
60 seconds?
No, 60 minutes.
Just the high-octane version of 60 minutes.
seconds is really annoying. I hate 60 seconds.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Is that a show?
Yeah.
Is it 60 seconds long?
Yeah. You never seen 60 seconds?
No, I've never heard of it.
There's like a stupid stopwatch. It's like
I also like never seen 60 minutes besides the times they made us in school.
Yeah. 60 seconds is like the same concept, but they're faster. It's like a lightning round news. So they're just like, so you see like a countdown timer in the background and it's ticking and it's like going in the course of an actual minute. And in that minute, they just keep saying like news topics going on. Like this mudslide killed 400 people. This cat walked across the street. This blah, and it's like, what the and so like at the end of the 60 seconds you're like, I kind of want to know more, but I also can't remember any of the things you just said because there's like a million of these, so I guess the news is done. Not even the
internet's attention span's that small.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
It kind of is, but also not. We keep trying towards long-form media. Not because you ever wonder about how much stuff like taste is made not by people's actual choices of what they want to consume, but instead just algorithms choosing for them, and then they just get used to it.
Yeah, but we've been doing that for like years.
Yeah,
so
like your favorite Let's Player is somebody that is usually, unless your friend told you, is oftentimes like something that YouTube just kind of showed you one day by guessing randomly, basically. But they're all algorithmically biased about like what kind of stuff to show. Like I think about like how like YouTube used to be about a bunch of short, quick animations and silly, tiny micro skits, and now it's the constantly popular stuff is often like 30-minute things, be it video essays or people arguing about political things or YouTube drama and everything like that. Like it keeps trending upward and upward and upward. And it's like, did the audience actually decide they wanted longer form media, or did the algorithm just decide that? Because at the time, YouTube was trying to encourage anybody that could make you stay on YouTube longer. So if you made videos that made people stay on YouTube longer via either the video being longer and them sticking with it, or playlists where they go from one to another, and like anything that keeps them on the site longer, then you were rewarded by the algorithm and you were shown to more people because they just were trying to do anything that made people be on the site longer. And that didn't necessarily mean that you were making content that the people actually preferred the longer content or stuff like that. And it's like in fact, a lot of this content's worse now because it's longer.
It's tough to gauge. I would say the hard part is that sure, I think to some capacity the algorithm is I would say the algorithm's 50-50. The algorithm is slightly trying to build what it thinks is what people want, but at the same time, there's so much of it that's just like, you watch this, let's try this video. And then it like half of the audience gets like that watches, say, your video. Half the audience that watches your video gets to watch a video from gets recommended a video from Wander. And the other half gets recommended a video from Game Grumps. And they say like, okay, which one is more popular? And it's like, maybe Game Grumps is. So is that because of time, because their videos are shorter, or is it because of who they are? And it's like constantly going through and trying to like do checks and balances against itself to the point where the end result tends to be or
sometimes it just misjudges the shit out of everything.
Yeah.
Like sometimes once I just watched a video that said Sargon in it, and I was like, oh no, is he in the tags of this video? Oh no.
Yep.
And then I went to the front page of YouTube. It actually was just immediately suggesting me like 10 videos about like how women are evil, and I'm like, fuck, man, it was one video where he came up as a related thing, and immediately, like, I'm not exaggerating or joking, it was just, that's like the recommended chunk of the front page was just like, so you hate women now, right? I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So it's not that our tastes are being curated by an algorithm. It's that the algorithm is trying to curate to our tastes
and kind of works sometimes.
It only kind of works sometimes.
You also have the second wave. You also have the second wave of thing the second wave of the effect of the algorithm is that people then change their content to fit the algorithm.
Yes.
Which is CinemaSins and Game Theory in particular are both shows that I noticed got progressively worse because they were specifically chasing the guidelines of what would work with the algorithm.
What they thought would work with the... because that's the thing, is that's my favorite part.
Both channels that used to be about like 4-minute, 3-minute videos of like jokey jokes about whatever they felt like making,
like Donkey,
suddenly became about constantly chasing whatever the current trend is and making videos that are definitely at least 10 minutes long, no matter how much you have to stretch it or pad it or put unfunny garbage in it to just make it longer and longer.
Yeah.
And like both channels just got noticeably worse every year until they kept getting more popular as a result. And I'm like, but their content didn't get better. They're just doing what works in the algorithm. And I'm like, oh no, algorithm, stop. What are you doing?
Well, that's the problem, though, is because they were chasing the algorithm was in playing the game of chasing them, saying, like, is this content good?
It becomes a feedback loop of success. And it's like, congratulations, you won that YouTube by convincing a bot that you should be the best channel on YouTube.
Yeah.
And that seems to have been how that worked.
Well, here's the thing, though, is sure, you can say that, but the problem is that we don't know, because we don't know the actual channel statistics, we have no idea how that channel works. Like, say, take Game Theory, for instance. What is the point when people stop watching? At what point of the video do people just bounce out? Because even if the video is being recommended, it could be because they watched for 5 minutes of it, like they would like to, and then after...
and then they're like, I'm bored mid-video, goodbye. Yes,
and then they leave. But the algorithm will still reward them because there's enough people that will stay for the full 10 minutes. That compensates for a majority of people leaving early. So
I'll never forget, like, how... I think the one moment that finally broke me, where I was like, finally, like,
Are we just going to talk shit about other channels?
Apparently, yeah. This is a great professional ordeal to have, right? Like, just talk about other channels, and then the people that like those channels get mad at you, and then you permanently poison the well for potential future collaboration and shit like that. It's weird, right? Like, there's a whole YouTube circle of like criticism, and
there's a whole YouTube circle of People's Magazine, which is basically just people going around making shit claims.
I mean, not that, as in like YouTube has a whole thing of like media analysis and criticism and so on and so forth. That's all about like looking at other fields of media.
Yeah.
Like you got to be looking at comic books or movies or television shows or books. Because if you look inward at YouTube, then suddenly it's like you're stepping on shit you're not supposed to step on. And it's bad for you to do. And it's like somehow invalid or whatnot.
Well, it makes you petty because in the theory, you're only doing it to bring down...
Although if I say anything about MatPat, he knows.
Does he?
Yes. I'm not saying he knows that I'm saying it. I'm saying whatever I say about his shit, he's very aware of.
Oh, okay.
Just because I know how aware of I am about my own content and all the things go into it.
I was going to say, like, damn.
Any decisions involved are like things that I've thought about. So like he's probably very willfully making these decisions for the purposes of chasing the trends and being successful and everything like that. So like it's not like I'm blowing the fucking lid off or anything.
No.
But like the moment that broke me, because like every channel has a moment where you watch a channel for a while and then you hit like a diminishing return point where you're like, I haven't cared about this channel for a while, and then you finally like unsubscribe and you just have that moment.
Yeah.
Which, right now 3 people just do that right now. Although the chance of the people doing that or being the ones that also watch the podcast is a little back and forth, because the people that would like finally realizing they don't care about my channel and unsubscribing probably aren't bothering with the podcast to have this realization from me saying it right now.
People unsubscribe for a lot.
There's always someone will make the comment regardless. Now it'll be Colonel RPG. It's usually Colonel RPG.
Wow.
He makes meta jokes about how like we said a thing about what comments say, so then he says that comment in the comment. But now I don't know what he'll do. now he's a game
of chicken.
Now he's got a real weird meta conundrum to deal with.
Unsubscribe, Colonel. Unsubscribe.
Like, you know what I'm talking about though. Like you had it with Game Grumps.
Yeah.
You used to like Game Grumps, and you just kind of at one point just faded away.
I like John.
Yeah, that would do it. For me, like I've had that moment with extra credits and Game Theory and CinemaSins and so on. Like I liked CinemaSins when he made.
I used to watch CinemaSins and Extra Credit and Game Theory.
I liked CinemaSins when he had 3-minute videos, and I liked Extra Credits when they were on Escapist, basically. But in the ensuing like 6 years, it's been like the idea of them having a good topic every week is like they kind of got a lot of the fun ones out of the way.
Yeah. Also,
like they're the reason I talk about Skinner boxes.
Oh,
like
yeah.
The exposure I had to that concept was their really good video on that idea.
Yeah.
but that was like 7 years ago.
They also, I want to say they also had like a lot of shit go down, like Channel Awesome. About...
Well, they keep having shit go down, like various forms of drama where they're the victim or they're the cause of the drama, like over and over again, like every year practically.
Is there like a thing that I'm not aware of?
There was the whole thing where they had like the Escapist wasn't paying them, and they had the artist that had a wrist injury and needed surgery, and they were like crowdfunding to do the surgery, and then Escapist was like, via our contract, we're gonna try to steal all that money from you instead of the surgery happening. I'm like, and that was part of the week where everyone left Escapist, and now when you look at Escapist magazine, their whole website is just 0 punctuation. It's really embarrassing. I've brought this up in Discord before.
Yeah,
but
I think
Escapist magazine needs to have a less embarrassing schedule.
Yeah,
just have a banner that says zero punctuation. Show on Tuesdays, stream on Thursdays, or whatever the fuck his schedule is. Just have that. But instead, they have this massive grid that's like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and has like 8 slots. And it just, at the very top, it's like 0 punctuation, extra punctuation, judge it by its cover, or like the 3 little clips, and then it's just empty.
Well, I think they're holding out hope that someone might return. Like you
can keep the template and bring it back later when you have things in it.
Someone has to work there first.
You don't even need good graphic design skill to make.
You need HTML. Yeah, I mean, you need to know how to do web design.
Not really.
Yeah,
I think if you look at their page, their schedule is one image. I think it's literally like a picture someone made, and it just renders in that part of the screen.
It's not clickable?
I
thought you can click it to go to the channel.
Even the different shows are different tiles. I think it's literally just one banner. You have like you're talking about how like you can go to like all the different tabs and categories of like here's the video section and the gaming section and stuff like that, and get to like stuff. I mean, in the bottom right corner of their front page is their schedule for their video content.
Oh,
and I think it's just a picture. And it's just one show, basically.
Oh.
And it's like, oh no. Like, it's just an image that's like 90% empty. And I'm like, why don't you format that in a flattering way? Like, hey, we have this show. It's on Tuesdays. As opposed to just like showing how empty your day is.
Does like Extra Credits even update?
But to get back, like, the moment they broke... Well, that's not Extra Credits. It's
or not Extra Credits. Zero Escape. Or,
yeah.
Not Zero...
Escapist magazine.
Escapist.
Yeah.
God.
That show used to have like 3 shows a day.
Yeah.
That channel.
I mean, it used to have...
But they didn't have any money to pay them. I'm like, how did you get them all in the first place?
Because same with Channel Awesome. They just kind of like... They're
much like Channel Awesome, they all hemorrhaged off and they all are Patreon funded.
But they were
now.
They were up and coming people who didn't have a name to themselves. Or they were people who wanted to like expand their audience and were like, yeah, I'll get on a news channel or I'll get on this, like
one website used to have Jim Sterling and Miracle of Sound and 0 punctuation and Extra Credits, plus others,
and
now all of those are like these big profitable things that are all separate from them because they couldn't figure out how to run profitable shows. It's like that's.
I don't think it was they couldn't run profitable shows. I think they just kept.
It must show how good how good Rooster Teeth is at this shit.
Oh, Rooster Teeth is
they've gone so far in that direction, and they seem to keep it running.
Well, you have to remember that there's a couple of factors that make it important. One, The Escapist was founded by just nobodies. It was just made by random people who it just took off. Rooster Teeth was founded by people who had business degrees and people who had like film and IT degree, like people with skill sets.
Well,
and so
they started with something that was popular and then kept making more things as it grew in popularity.
But I mean, like in the regards of like setting up the video streaming stuff, they did that themselves. They didn't rely on YouTube. They didn't rely on other people. They did it themselves.
I kind of wonder if like in terms of like being like a channel or whatever you want to call it, like that, it's not even like an MCN, but like being like this thing that makes a bunch of shows as a whole,
being like an LLC, I guess.
I wonder if like the way that Rooster Teeth and Channel Awesome did it is like the Marvel way of doing it, where it naturally grows from a thing that started off as popular and then you keep spinning off to more things. Whereas Escapist is like DC. We're like, we'll just make ourselves popular, and our second movie will be the Avengers crossover movie, and just force the whole thing and hope it works out, and then it just hemorrhages. Yeah,
I would say that there's Rooster Teeth. I would even say Channel Awesome did the same thing as The Escapist did.
I mean, they did because it was just Nostalgia Critic was a popular show.
Yeah,
and then they just kept adding more shows as
more
it grew in
people.
popularity.
Yeah, and
like they had an actual call to action or whatever. They're like, "Hey, which one of you guys wants to be the nostalgia chick?" And they had like a whole open audition thing, and like it was all growing naturally from that origin point.
Yeah. Whereas I want to say Rooster Teeth was just kept going.
It just kept growing.
But they never relied on others.
Like one day somebody was like, "Hey, let's make Achievement Hunter." Well, and like people just kept making up new projects, and they kept expanding because they had the money.
It was more of just like the Rooster Teeth has, I would imagine, a really interesting budget where they take a certain amount of money and they put it towards risk ideas.
I mean, now they're like unstoppable because they have so many revenue sources that they can just keep expanding.
Nothing's unstoppable.
Well, not literally, but I mean, like they're no longer like, here's our one show and hope it keeps working or we're fucked.
Yeah, it's not like Red vs. Blue where it's like this is the money train. Everything else.
I don't even know if Red vs. Blue is an important part of their money as opposed to just a legacy that they hold on to.
There's no way
they have conventions now, and that has to be more profitable than the web series they do once a year.
I mean, Achievement Hunter is more popular than Red vs. Blue is.
Mm-hmm. Like, and then you have the weird thing where one cast member they happen to have has a show that's has a channel more popular than any of their channels.
Who, Ray?
No, Gavin.
Oh, you're talking about Gavin's.
Yeah, because Gavin's channel he started just to get past immigration to work at Rooster Teeth is now has more subs than all of Rooster Teeth. There's some... YouTube's a fucking weird ride.
It is.
It's just really weird trying to figure out things go.
How do you... Wait. I forget how he did that. He created a channel.
He knew somebody that had access to a slow-mo camera.
Yeah.
And he just sort of went around with him and sort of apprenticed for a little bit and kind of worked his way in and then would like borrow it to do things and it kept taking off.
Well, yeah, but...
It's hard to get access to that kind of footage.
Yeah.
And then that was that's something he could present as being, I'm legitimate now, to like when he's trying to apply for like green cards or whatever the equivalent or whatever he got. And like it's one strategy. Boy, does that was a lucky path he got.
Yeah.
It's real fucking hard. Even if you have something that could work on YouTube, having the lightning in the bottle of like the luck elements play out so that it all works out correctly, like even that's like, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, the world, I think technology has built surprise success more frequently. Mm-hmm. Like, you'll notice...
Even he, despite having a channel that's bigger than Rooster Teeth, might have gotten its popularity from Rooster Teeth.
Yeah.
Because being a known entity on Rooster Teeth from like the visits he would do and being in content could have been the initial bump he needed to have exposure on his slow-mo stuff that then gave it the chance to even be seen enough to take off like that.
Yeah. There's just a lot of I feel like the more that time passes by, the more that technology keeps advancing, the more networking becomes almost a mandatory option. You need to know people, you need to talk to people, you need to go to do things that you would otherwise probably despise doing so you can interact with people who will boost you into some capacity.
I got an invite to one of those.
To what?
I couldn't tell if it was a mistake though.
To one of what?
I got invited to like a YouTube event.
Why didn't you go?
It hasn't happened.
When is it?
It's like signups aren't even over until like end of late July or something.
You should do it.
And it's like, but there's a weird throwaway line. Is like, come on over if you're big on promoting Black and Latino content. And I'm like, do they know? Did they seen? Like I can't tell. Like it's just a weird line to read. Where I'm like, I can't tell if they literally think that I'm Black or Latino, or if it's just like, come if you're not racist.
I think it's probably come if you're not racist.
It's just a slightly weird line to read midway through the email in big, bold red letters.
I think they're insinuating that like the idea is that they're trying to be collaboratively supportive of multiracial.
I'm not big on the idea because I'm almost certain that it's one of those things where you have to pay to do it and everything.
Well, most networking events require you to pay to some capacity.
Well, I mean, like for travel and everything and all dealing with it. I don't think that's a funded adventure.
No. You would have to pay for stay.
I always hear about like people talking about being in like the YouTube Rewind and how it just fucked them up for a week because they lost all this money and had to do all this travel and like all this shit so they could be in like one frame of a thing for a second.
YouTube Rewind's a little different though. I don't get the appeal because it would make more sense if there was some system in play where you know that you're going to be credited for your inclusion in this, but there's not like a.
But you're going to be so microcredited amongst hundreds of people.
It's like how are you going to get credit when there, like the most recent rewind that we had, where there's that scene where there's 7 people in one room throwing things at each other.
That one hotel room where there's like 30 people in there.
Yeah, like Markiplier's in there and Jacksepticeye.
Yeah, you just pause it. You're like, hey, look, it's Markiplier. He's there for a second.
You have to like pause it.
Dude got more screen time in the Ninja Sex Party video where he's a centaur for 1 second.
Yeah.
Because at least he's in the frame.
Yeah.
And that guy had to fly there. I guess he got to meet up with some people, so that's kind of fun. But for filming purposes, it's like... Dude, you like smiled while being out of focus for a second, and that's like why you flew to that city.
Yeah, like that's
holy shit.
It's such a waste of time on such an egregious level.
I think we podcasted about this before, but those got worse every year.
They
right?
did, yeah.
Like the Gangnam Style one was like watchable.
Yeah,
it had like a structure. Like this is the Call Me Maybe half of the video, and here's the Gangnam Style half of the video, and there's like. Every scene of the video is like a scene where like an action takes place and somebody's the center focus, and then you cut to like a couple of people over here and a couple of people over there, and like it's a music video, so it's still like an incoherent non-narrative thing, but like you can physically watch it and not get a headache the whole time.
Yeah, the most recent one was like noise. It was 100% noise. I don't even...
And it felt weirdly tone deaf because it was like had a weird mournful like fallen troops style sad moment in the middle, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening right now.
R.I.P. PewDiePie.
Why is that one guy like remixing why is that guy like remixing a train in the snow with his fidget spinner or something?
Trends are cool.
Which one thing is every year I'm more out of touch with who's popular on YouTube. I just am. Like I watched the Gangnam Style one and I'm like, okay, I've heard both these songs, and that's Felicia Day, and that's Psy, and that's Freddie Wong and Corridor Digital dancing in Minecraft costumes, and the guy like Nigga Higa's falling from the sky, and I'm like, okay, I know who some of these people are. I even know who Smosh is. I'm not psyched about it, but that one...
It's kind of hard not to.
It cuts to them at a table, reacting at a moment. I'm like, okay, that's Smosh. I watched the most recent ones. I'm like... I have no fucking clue.
Welcome to being an old man, you fuck. Like, that's what it's called, because you're not a cool kid on YouTube.
Encounter each other, and it's like a showdown or something, and I'm like, I literally didn't learn who they were until after the rewind.
Yeah,
I didn't know who the Paul brothers were.
I didn't know who
I'm
they
like,
were
why
either.
do we care about ex-Disney Channel actors being in vlogs? So like, it's not even half. This isn't even judgment. It's just I am so out of the loop.
Yeah.
It looks like crowds of random people for the entire video to me.
I mean,
I've totally lost track until except for very occasional freeze frames where you're like, oh, I found Philip DeFranco and I found Markiplier. They're in there.
Yeah.
For a second.
That's the thing is like, I don't know. I don't really watch YouTube videos to that sense. Like I usually just bounce around to whatever I feel like watching, but I'm not really that consistent with a lot of people. Like
I'm super consistent with the people I watch,
but
none of them show up on YouTube Rewind.
Yeah. But like,
which is almost a surprise.
Like, the only people
at this point, I'm kind of surprised like Bernie Burns doesn't show up at some point in those videos.
Why would he?
At one point, they used to have slow-mo guys for a couple of years, and they're gone now too, I think.
Yeah.
But now, I have no idea.
I bet you they don't do it because I'm sure there's like a contract they have to agree to. Like actually, because Rooster Teeth is a company now, and you can't just lease out employees of the company to another company without some kind of contractual.
I have no idea.
Like I bet you Rooster Teeth isn't dumb about it. They're like, you have to pay us.
Do you think there's actual shit that goes to it?
Yeah. I bet you Rooster Teeth isn't an idiot. Like they're probably like
I recently had the equivalent of a YouTube Rewind for a second there where I'm like, oh shit, it's all these people I know. Because like either a wedding was happening or someone was filming something that featured a wedding. I genuinely don't, like I didn't know.
I think it's probably...
It's hard to reverse engineer what's happening via social media when you just see random pictures. But there was that one picture that had like 15 people in it. And I'm like, oh shit, it's like every channel I'm subscribed to. Like it was, like in there you saw like Lindsay Ellis and Folding Ideas and H-Bomber guy, and all these different people. Like it's just a huge crowd of people all in one chunk together. I'm like, there you go. I guess they're all friends. That's nice to know.
There's I don't know. My thing is like I'm really anti-networking. I don't really like it, and I don't agree with the entire concept of it. of like
What, the part where you meet people that you might be interested in working with, or the part where you like force yourself to be at places so you can expose
you
yourself?
have to force yourself, where it's like you have to do this thing.
There's people I'd be excited to meet. That I might work with.
There's people but there's people I want to meet in a more natural situation rather than like basically bum rushing to a location and being like, we need to hang out.
The fact that we both tried to do self-made jobs on the internet kind of speaks to both of our lack of networking.
Yeah,
because there's a whole rigmarole that's supposed to make it easier to get jobs and so on, where you just really get in people's faces all the time during like your late college years, and you're like in so many like weird dinners and events and things until you finally make that one connection that happens to make your life work.
Yeah.
And if you don't get that combination of luck / effort that leads to the luck working out, like, because like there were people in I knew a couple people, and one in particular that like had a high paying job set up for the moment he graduates, and it's like, fuck,
yeah.
But also those jobs dry up real fast to the couple of people that find them, because that is lightning in the bottle. But yeah, like it's.
But I mean, that's the thing. Is like I'm one of those people that I'll show up to a place and I'm like, I can do the thing you want, and that's it. Like that's
you're telling me to go networking.
Well, yeah, but I'm not.
You know you're wrong.
I know I'm wrong, but I'm a subpar human. I don't like to interact with other people. So my only networking skill is, if you need a thing done, I'll get the thing done for you. Don't expect anything else though.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to be friendly. I'm not going to like hang out with you, buy you drink. Fuck you. You want the thing done, you're going to hire me. You're going to hire me and I'll get the damn thing done. And that's my level of networking, which is apparently everyone's opposed to that. Everyone's like, no, I want best friends.
I mean, that's not what networking means.
Well, no, exactly.
It's literally not what it means.
But but you're networking to get a job. So I'm going into it with the job mentality of, I'm here to do the thing you want. I'm not here to be your friend, because when I get hired and get paid, I'm not being paid to be your friend. I'm being paid to do the fucking job. So why did I network with you at all? Because all I'm doing at the end of the day is just a goddamn job.
You didn't network.
No. Again, the point I'm saying is, that's why I don't believe in networking. Is because why would I go through all the effort to be friendly just to get a job where I will never be friendly again?
Is it that you don't believe in networking, or you just know that you will refuse to do it right? And so you might as well not do it at all.
I can do it, but it's like I don't want to.
But like, you know you won't do it right, so you might as well not do it at all.
No, I can do it right as well.
But you know you won't.
No, I will.
You can, but you refuse to.
Well, yeah, I guess.
And you know that.
Sure.
It's like, since you refuse to do it right, then you might as well just not be doing it, is more or less the takeaway.
Pretty much, yeah.
Because people do actually make connections that affect their lives.
Oh, I'm not denying that exists.
But you have to want to.
But, well, you have to, like, throw
and also be able to deal with random humans and make the nice.
Fake it. Which is pointless to me. Like, what's the point? What's the point of...
I don't know if everyone fakes it.
Then you're idiots.
There's part of,
I don't want to be around you even more.
I mean, like, there's people that can just get along with people.
Well, yeah,
and there's also people like I noticed this especially when I was working my office job. Like, some people just thought I was angry, and it was just because I wouldn't it doesn't come naturally, and I wouldn't just like snap into like a jovial, like, I'm a Starbucks employee thing.
Hello and welcome.
So like
yeah.
If anything, like, I'd be hard at work for days on end on my spreadsheets, and then I'd have that once every 3 days encounter with another employee where like my boss would walk around the corner, and actually I'd like jump a little bit because it's the one sudden motion around me after 3 days of not motion ever, and I would just be kind of slightly flustered and surprised, and he'd like try to make small talk as to segue to something, and I'd be like, I'm not receptive to this. Like, I am not.
Yeah.
But also, although I do blame some of that on like I had one coworker, John, that I would just like talk to constantly about like Bloodborne and all those other things, because we both played Souls games, and we played tabletop games, and he liked testing games, and he was developing a tabletop game, and actually came to Marty's house to test his prototype and stuff.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, like all that cool shit was happening. So I get along with him great. But I had a terrible dynamic with my boss, because he barely ever showed up. He would startle me when he showed up, because it's just a tall man materializing behind a wall. And I was at the perfect angle where the opening to my cubicle was to my left, but slightly behind me.
Yeah.
So it's always
in the corner of your eye. Like
startling peripheral stuff. And also sometimes I was on Imager because I was bored out of my mind dealing with algorithms. And and also he's my boss. So I'm like, I don't know how to talk to you.
Really?
I'm like, do I just talk to you like you're some friend, or
No.
you
do,
like bosses suck.
It's respectfully casual is what they want.
Yeah.
So they want you to treat them like a friend, but they still want that respect that you give to a boss.
Like I have no idea how to talk to a boss
that
I meet as a boss, and not like as a friend that becomes my boss or something. Like I'm like, I don't know how to like. Do you small talk? Like I literally don't know. So I just freeze, and it just makes them think that I'm uncomfortable or angry or unhappy, and I'm like, no. At one point, he commented on my facial hair that was growing out, which was usually an accident anyway, due to just like me not dealing with it half the time. Yeah. And I think his response to me not having an immediate response was like, "Oh, you didn't like that." I'm like, "Oh shit, what am I? I don't know how much I'm messing up the social interaction."
He is like the worst at doing live action Telltale games. Dude, where he just keeps picking the silent option.
I hate offense interactions. I hate them. And it's not for the reasons you do, where you're all like mad at office workers. It is because like it's like playing like Until Dawn or like David Cage game or Telltale game where like the time limit for the dialogue happens too fast and it just goes on without you. I'm like, no, it's not what I meant to do. Yeah. I'm suddenly in a social interaction after 6 hours of not any of that. Yeah. I can't handle it.
I have the opposite problem. My problem is I want to go with whenever I'm in a social situation, I want to go with the first thing that pops in my head, but I can't use that because the first thing that pops in my head is degrading. It will always be a way to put someone down or to insult them some way. So I need to like take a second to develop an entire new reaction.
You have to like, force yourself to be a human for a second.
I have to force myself to construct
being a monster.
Yeah, I have to force myself to construct a sentence that isn't down-putting. So like, if I'm working, I can't do it because I'm in the middle.
Like, hi, Andrew, how are you doing? Those heels make you fat. It's like,
I mean, okay. Here's a good example: is the previous job I had before I was here. My boss,
the one you were fired from for bad attitude.
Yes, my boss walked up to me and my boss walked up to me and asked if I could take a call that he was trying to deal with, and I told him, no, that's not my job. It's yours. Deal with your own call. And I realized quickly, like, oh no, I was supposed to say that politely. I was supposed to say like, oh no, I'm kind of busy at the moment. Like, I'll get to, if you can wait, I'll get to it when I can, or something. Like, you give like a platitude that's one of
those things that happens to me when I have to send emails.
Yeah.
I will constantly, I literally just have a signature that auto generates that has my name in it, and I just respond. Yeah. I literally just respond to the message.
Yeah.
Like, just clear and concise.
Yep.
And I just respond to what they said as if it's normal conversation. But everyone who ever emails me has like so much preamble and follow up and so on.
Yep.
And there's like a format to it.
There's like a format.
And it reminds me of like this idea of like how like my comments often come out as more belligerent than they should because I don't do like exclamation points or smiley faces or like I just say the thing and then it's always read as negative due to everyone else. Like I just remember playing Tokyo Mirage Sessions and everyone constantly sent like screen-sized like emoji things at each other, the charms or images or whatever the fuck, and I'm like, I can't talk like this. I can't deal with this.
Yeah.
I just say the words at people. but it makes me seem like a dick because everybody else has been like upping their game every year in this arms race of showing friendly faces to each other.
Yeah.
And whereas like I don't even like buying people cards for celebrations.
Oh, I know.
Like I'd rather write the name on the gift and just hand it to them and be like, and then hug them instead of doing this weird like pay $5 to the Hallmark Corporation to prove my love or whatever the fuck, which I resent.
That's the thing though, is like there's a lot of elements at play, and I think that's the thing I hate the most is that I know how to be cordial, I know how to be friendly and whatever approachable are the fake words people use to make themselves feel better. Is like I can do those things. I don't want to do those things because that's not me. I'm not that person.
You did it this week though.
I did because I'm not going to.
You actually did it.
Yeah, and you saw there was not a single person.
Yeah,
who disliked
you did a sweet kickflip in that picture.
I did do
that. Looks like you look like you're on the cover of a Tony Hawk Pro Skater magazine.
I'm actually Tony Hawk.
Before we get to that, I guess like I never did explain the moment that MadPet broke me.
Yeah,
I had a chance to not dig this hole, but let's just commit to it.
Do it.
It was when Suicide Squad came out.
Okay.
They did the film theory channel, which was like, which was blatantly not just like how game theory is not game theory, film theory is not film theory. Like the names are wrong, but that's not the point. They're like, you know what we're gonna do? Suicide Squad coming out. I don't have enough ideas for videos. We'll do a 2-parter on Suicide Squad, one before the movie comes out and one after it comes out. And the entire premise was just that at one point, somebody who wrote a comic once said that there are 3 Jokers, as their way of explaining the different eras of Joker being different characters. Like Golden Age Joker, which is the cartoonish, he's just a trickster shit, and then Silver Age and so on, and then modern Joker being a psychopath, like that kind of shit. Like at some point, maybe like Frank Miller or some other shit wrote some comic that said that there actually are canonically 3 Jokers, and that's how they explain those separate personalities.
Yeah, there are 3 Jokers.
And so
it was a chair, by the way.
So on film,
that's what told him that.
It was a chair?
It was a talking mythical chair.
Oh, the one because Batman asked who Joker was.
Yes,
right.
And the chair was like, which one? And Batman's like, the fuck do you mean which one? Like it's like that creaching moment where you have a quick second where you go like,
so what happened is film theory spent an entire video like 10 to 15 minutes long before Suicide Squad even came out, just explaining that happened once in the comics. And
irrelevant, but
saying that happens to kind of correlate with the 3 Jokers that have been in movies so far.
No, it doesn't.
That was what he said, though.
No.
And that was the whole video.
The
premise was that it was set up.
You're counting the Tim Burton Joker?
Yeah, it was Tim Burton, Heath Ledger, and like the old guy.
What? You think DC has that fucking kind of forethought?
No.
To make like
of course they
3
don't.
Jokers?
But he was arguing that like obviously there was the old Adam West Joker.
Yeah.
That was like clearly Golden Age silly Joker.
Yeah.
And then you have Mobster Joker in Tim Burton movie, and then you have Psychopath Joker with Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Which is like kind of a connection. And then like which Joker is I forgot the actor's name, but Suicide Squad's Joker gonna be? Like, is it gonna be which of those 3 Jokers is like, and like so like literally the entire video was just an open question about the movie that's not out yet.
Yeah.
And he literally just recaps one scene from a comic, which you're not even doing any theorizing here. You're just saying what happened.
Theory, it did happen.
You're just saying what happened in the comic.
Yeah.
That's Movie Bob shtick, or if anything, or Linkara or someone.
Yeah.
And then he just says, "Oh wow, isn't it funny how they kind of correlate with the 3 movie Jokers? Which one is the Suicide Joker going to be?" And it was like a 15-minute video.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you are just leeching. You're just leeching off the popularity of a thing to get views, while also not really saying anything. And then guess what? Next week is this part 2, which is when he just answers the question. It's like it was like he was more like the Mobster Joker. I'm like, great. I'm glad we spent half an hour on this topic. I'm like, that's when he finally broke me. Where I'm like
the Mobster Joker.
I think that's what he landed on. No. It's just this equal parts of like this is really uninteresting.
Frank Miller's was the Mobster Joker. And that Mobster Joker had like a Nazi Harley Quinn.
No, he was just saying that between the 3 of them, it was most like the Mobster one.
No, it wasn't though.
And by the way, his Mobster one being like he's comparing it to like the Jack Nicholson one.
Also, no,
as opposed to the Heath Ledger one.
That wasn't the gangster.
Well, you're getting extra into the thing of like that's how weak these videos are too.
No, it's not a video.
And people need to understand like the original premise of this channel and why it was kind of fun was just taking
it was absurdities.
It was absurdities. Yeah. You take a completely incomprehensible universe.
Could Mario survive a bullet bill hit?
Yeah, and you try to apply it super literally.
Yeah.
Like calculate, like one of the videos was calculating how much force is involved in the hook shot and whether or not Link could do that or not. And the conclusion is it would rip his arm off.
Yeah, it would rip his arm off.
And it's great. I love that.
Yeah.
It's fun. And it was like a 6-minute video. It had math and shit. Go for it.
It's fun.
And then like you'll have like a video where it's like we used the stuff to scale of anything we could find in the Mario universe that Mario stands by at some point
to find his height.
Decide how tall he is.
Yeah.
And then they did the same thing for Wario. And the end result, of course, is that Mario's like 3 feet tall and Wario's like 12 feet tall based on the math. And those not matching up is also why the channel was fun.
Yeah.
Because of how dumb the idea is. Because you're trying to take literally universes that can't be taken literally.
I think it's like
that was his channel for like 3 years.
I think it also came out to being like Bowser and Wario were like the same height.
Yeah.
I think was what the math turned out to be.
And when I talk about how dumb that that two-parter of film theory was, game theory has been like that for years too now. Is like,
Oh, yeah.
It's just, ever since Five Nights at Freddy's, like, they constantly make videos that are just like, I made tenuous connection to thing that was next to thing once, and it's like a really low-rent Vati Vidya, basically, where it's just like, stop.
You know what broke me?
Stop.
You know what broke me on game theory? And it's not that it broke me to stop watching. I did that a long time ago. What broke me on, like, from, oh, okay, game theory is just kind of a dumb channel I don't watch anymore, it's not my taste, to like, no, you should not exist anymore, is, he made a video for Five Nights at fucking Freddy's, like a recent one, and it was...
Which one?
No,
he has to have made like 15 now,
He
right?
made the most recent one that he made, and it was, we will never be able to figure this out. And I was like...
Then why does the video exist?
Why are there fucking 12 videos of Five Nights at Freddy's then? Like, what the and the whole video, I can only imagine, is probably Scott Crawford going, there's no canon in the Five Nights at Freddy universe? And then
Do
what?
they still make Five Nights games?
Yes! And then what? Matt just has to go like, I guess I was wrong. There is no canonical correlation. We can never figure out who these things are. Like, why did you make a video then? To what end? What's the point? You sit here and you spend your entire time making 15-minute videos about a topic only for the creator of the topic to go like, no, you're fucking wrong, Matt Pat. Don't do that no more. It's stupid. and then what do you do? You make a video, go like, oh, I guess I'm stupid. We can't make videos like this anymore. Tune in next week. We'll make more videos like this. And it's like, when does the cycle end? It never stops. But no, I mean, same with CinemaSins. They do the same thing where it's like, I think literally every movie, he like the moment a movie is announced, I think he sits down and he writes the entire script. And
like preemptively?
Yeah, like preemptively, and then I think he leaves like 4 or 5 slots available for actual meta jokes about the movie.
Has given us the advantage of showing us how he makes his videos, and that was very illuminating. And it was not good.
No,
it was not good news.
It was not good news
because the way CinemaSins makes his videos is he just watches a movie for the first time, a movie he's never seen before.
Yeah.
And he just, every time he thinks of anything, he just pauses it on the spot and writes it down. And then he just reads that script later out loud.
Yes.
And that's the movie.
Regardless of...
And he just matches it up with the time codes of the movie and it just puts it out. No matter how dumb it makes him look or how much, like, literally, he's like Let's Playing, basically.
Yeah.
Like...
Except worse.
Like, if I was going to put out a comedy review of Zero Escape... I wouldn't literally just take our Let's Play and, like, go ding a lot every time we say something.
Yeah.
Because I know that by the end of the playthrough, certain things we say won't work as criticisms, as part of, like, the mystery thing. Which, like, some
tell
people...
that to the commenters in the fucking videos.
A bunch of assholes, like, those are people just being... those people are actually just being thick about this whole thing.
Yeah.
It's like, a lot of people will watch our Let's Play as a review.
Yes.
And they'll be like, you said this thing that's wrong in this scene. Never mind that this is part 3 of 120. Like, you didn't instantly know the entire mystery. Therefore, everything you say in the future is also wrong.
Except like, you're fucking guessed like 2 of the things.
And they'll be like, your tendency to jump to conclusions is the whole reason you don't like this game. It's like, no, you're supposed to try to theorize shit when you're when you're reading a mystery novel or watching CSI or playing a mystery game or something. You're supposed to be trying to think about what the solution to the mystery is.
We're just doing it, vocally.
And your incomplete information leads to you being wrong up until the point where it stops leading to you be wrong. And because they're withholding certain pieces of information from you. And that's the formula of the genre.
And that's how it's supposed to make you excited, because you go like, oh, I didn't see that. I didn't put that connection together. And like, shit.
In our most recent session, we had one reveal that made us feel like, we're more interested now. Yeah, we're more invested. I sure wish we had this reveal 40 hours ago, because we sure as hell have not been that invested for a while. But fuck, that we finally like 55 hours in or something, we had a reveal. We're like, oh shit, that makes everything more interesting. Yeah, I wish we knew that sooner, because we could be like, oh, what's happening there? What's happening there? Because we're not going to replay the game to see how it recontextualizes it. Meanwhile, there's other parts. We don't have a spare 100 hours. Meanwhile, there's other parts of the game that we've completely 100% guessed. Yeah, and then we've super nailed certain things. We've nailed a lot of stuff, and then people in the comments are like, "No," and it's like, you can't do that. I love the people. Like, I can't. I get so mad because people get fucking up in arms, and they're like, "Stop making wild accusations! You're just ruining it for yourself." And then you guess something that's right, and they're like, "That's not the right one." Well,
well, you can't have your cake and eat it too. If I guess the fucking solution, then what?
They're mad when you're wrong and when you're right.
Yeah, and it's like, what do you want? The game's either incredibly poorly written or incredibly poorly written. You don't get to choose any good cake here because they're all bad cakes. Like, what the fuck?
One of the incredible things is that we somewhat guessed certain twists of the game by just in the beginning of the first episode when we haven't launched the game yet. We looked at the characters. We just looked at the character designs, and some of them are like slightly misplaced on which character we're talking about, and this and that. But like, we guessed some of the actual twists that happen later in the game, 55 hours later and shit, by just looking at the cover.
Yeah,
and we're like, look at the character designs, and we fucking nail like a couple of things, and it's really
I mean,
funny.
we guessed so much stuff in those games because we are so good at doing game theories. You should watch our new channel, Game Theory. On YouTube now. We're going to do a lot of game theories. Pretty much we're going to redo all of Matt Pat's videos, but with us. Then we're going to like, except we're going to do Five Nights at Freddy videos where we do the math on how long it would take to make...
On how strong it chomps the child's brain?
Yes.
Like how strong Freddy's jaw is.
But see, unlike Matt Pat, we're not cowards.
They call him the child cracker.
We're going to actually hire real animatronics to chop on children's brains. And we're going to measure it like Mythbuster style. So we're going to do
Is this why you're moving to Dubai? Or they have more lenient laws?
Yeah, they're a little bit more lenient.
Child eating?
Well, they don't allow adoption, so you can just grab orphans because you can't adopt them anyways. And you can just grab orphans and use them that way.
Is that true?
It is true. You can't...
Is adoption illegal in Dubai?
Yes.
Whoa, what the fuck?
What?
That's what the fuck? That's really fucked up. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Well, how would you have an adoption?
What the fuck? Like, orphans exist no matter what society you're in. They just
they go to their last living family.
Oh, what if they run out? Do they just like do genetic tests to find the closest relative?
I don't know what happens.
Like weird strange.
All I can tell you is that I know that adopting is not allowed there. They don't have adoption agencies. They don't have orphanages to that extent. They may have government homes for kids that the government will take care of, but you cannot adopt those children.
Weird.
Because it's not okay by the religion.
Weird.
You have to have your own children. They're not your children.
Weird.
So yeah, because I talked about that with Naya because she was like, I
wonder if there's any weird workarounds.
There is.
Like,
so you can
I just think about like the Amish when they're like, we can't press buttons, but if I do this really weird thing, it's technically not pressing a button.
So you can adopt children outside of Dubai. Outside of the country. So you can go to Europe and adopt a child
and come back,
and then come back, but the child has to be yours. It will not be recognized by the government if it's not your child. So you have to claim it as your biological child.
Oh, you have to just pretend?
Yes. Which in some regard is good for the kid because at least you love it like it's your own. But
that's what adopting's supposed to be.
Yeah, but like it's weird that the idea is like you have to be forced by law to love it like it's your own.
I guess you can't tell the kid either that you're not actually their kid.
The kid cannot be acknowledged that it's adopted because it's not okay in that country. It is.
Whoa.
Look, man, the world is an amazing place.
Is it?
Yes, because I've never when living in America, I used to think like, man, like it would be cool if like nuclear war happened. It would save us a lot of trouble. Things are just not good. I traveled and I realized we need an extinction event. We need something even bigger. Like nukes aren't going to do it because people might survive. I need like
You're just waiting for one of those mega volcanoes to go off.
I need a volcano to kill us all.
A volcano.
I need the volcano to kill us all right now. It needs to happen.
That was like 3 accents.
It was
transitioned mid-sentence.
I'm a transformer. The point is that like the world is an awful place, and it only gets worse the more you travel to other places because you realize that no one's consistent about being evil. Everyone's evil in their own unique ways.
Everyone has weird, uniquely wrong systems.
It's impressive because it's like, how do we communicate instantaneously with each other, but somehow act even worse, but differently? Like, we somehow uniquely act worse than each other, but can communicate instantly to know how to not act that worse.
Well, maybe that's part of the problem, is we look at everybody else and be like, oh, those guys are fucking up like crazy.
Yeah.
Those Americans and their guns.
Where it's like
no, you can't have a home. Like, they just look like, crazy Americans. No, fuck you, live on the streets.
Yeah, it's like, there's weird, I don't know, I always thought it was funny, because there's
everyone
a lot
just looks at how fucked up all the other cultures are, and then they don't and they just don't question their own.
But
everyone else questions theirs.
I will say, I agree with you on the sense that I've started to learn that I'm getting tired of the stereotype of, oh, you're an American. Like, American being a stereotype.
It's exhausting.
You don't get to say that.
I get so many comments about Americans all the time.
Yeah, and it's like, you can't...
literally, if I misspeak a word once, it's like fucking Americans in the way that they always do this wrong.
Oh, shitty American education. It's like, I'll make the joke, but we have schools. It's not like we don't go to school. Yeah. Like, and then people are like, Americans.
I get so many anti-American comments where just, at any given moment, some random thing I do is like, it just confirms all of their biases.
Yeah.
And it's like... And I'm like, usually they're not even right about the original thing they're supposedly observing in me in the first place, let alone that it's some sort of great American trend. And it's like, it's exhausting.
I mean, it's like, I'll get it. I accept to some degree that, like, I'm not sitting here saying America is the land of perfection. No country is perfect, asshole.
But a lot of the things that people think are just like made up.
Yeah, but like a lot of the time we're like, oh, that's such an American thing. Like, actually, that's most of the world. You guys are all fucking idiots. Just welcome to the party. We're just more open about it. Like, at the same time, you have the things of like, oh, America just lets people have guns everywhere, and then you can turn around.
Start showing up when you start playing like a David Cage game, which is a French guy making in a game takes place in America, and like you'll just have these scenes where everyone has guns or police shooting on sight and all these other things. Yeah, and then and I'm like, is this what French people think America's actually like? And they're like, and then the comments are like, it's not. Like, because all the comments equally just think that, because they see all the gun media or they hear the news about guns and they think that that's just what all society is all the time, as opposed to like tragedies that half of us are having issue with or something like that.
The majority of us who live in America that's a country that allows guns to exist, don't see guns.
I don't know when the last time was I saw a gun.
I saw one because I actively went to find one. Because that's
I saw a gun during that story I told before on the podcast, I think, where I was feeding the cats and stuff. Oh. And the cops showed up and they had like guns on their hips and shit. And I was like, I kind of don't want to answer the door because I don't really want to just enter into a gun situation, even if they're like police make me trust them less just by having guns. Just because I don't want to be around. I don't want to engage with somebody who has a gun like ever.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense.
So like, even if they're like, even if they're good cops and everything, I'm uncomfortable of just like entering into a gun room with guns.
I'm uncomfortable with the idea that you have a literal instant kill weapon. I don't like that.
I'm never not aware that it's literally just a machine specifically manufactured for the purposes of killing human beings. I'm super aware of that all the time.
First off, it's not. It's meant to kill animals.
No.
Yes.
It's super not true.
Guns are built for the purpose of hunting first. Yes.
No.
Yes.
That's a giant myth.
Yeah, no. Well, okay. Technically, it was made...
Once upon a time, there was a hunting rifle where it was like a pain to load, and they'd figure it out, and I got him, and they'd take out some animal.
I mean...
But, like, literally, like, the entire point that all of how gun progression works and stuff like that is that wars keep happening, and they keep developing more and more efficient human-killing machines.
Well, now they're that way,
and then those are all the ones that people get.
Well...
Not the best ones ever, but like all the ones that humans have in the first place are part of that industry.
Well, I mean, I think
like all of gun progress isn't like this will get you an elk. Like a lot of gun progress is continuing to like more and more efficiently get towards the human killing. Like the vast majority of guns in existence were specifically manufactured for the purposes of killing human beings.
Yes,
that's why they're made.
I think the problem you're forgetting is that like all the animals are lower than us, so like it just works also to kill animals because if it can kill humans,
I'm just saying the argument that's what they're for is not accurate.
Well, yeah, it's always to hunt humans.
Yeah,
like because
you can't act.
But they're for hunting.
You argued against me.
No, I'm saying they're for hunting.
No, you said hunting animals specifically.
And humans are animals, you asshole.
Facetious. You got it. No, bitch.
You got it. If you're gonna hunt something, you go for the top of the food chain. Humans are the top of the food chain. You got to be able to hunt them. Otherwise, you can't kill the rest.
I don't want to ever be in a room with a gun. Like ever. I'm always like, this is nope. Don't like this being around, especially since like all the people that I know that like guns also love drinking. I'm like, that's not a good combo.
Yeah.
It's like, and all the sober people I know don't own guns.
I mean,
and it's like, and I'm not saying that drinking is the thing that makes you like guns. I'm saying that I don't want to mix drinking and guns.
Yes.
As seen by trained top tier FBI agent shooting a guy when he decides to, when drunken asshole decides to do a backflip with a gun in his holster and he drops it. You see that in the news?
Yeah.
Like, that was an FBI agent. That's like supposed to be the top trained assholes, and he fucking decides to do a drunken backflip with his gun and shoots a random dude that shouldn't be shot. It's almost like guns make this shit too easy. Which, by the way, that's a quote that happened. I was watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season 5, and what happens is they're in the future, and they're all like, humanity has been enslaved by the Kree on this space station, and they spark a revolt, and one of the guys that has lived there this whole time gets a hold of a gun and shoots a guy. He's like, these are too easy. You should only be allowed to have one of these if you're a really, really good person. And then like Mace is like, yeah, it's almost like there should be a law about it. And it's like they almost like wink at the camera directly and shit. Dude, fucking reviews on Netflix are mad. Like it's one throwaway line in the entirety of a like syndicated like 120 episode ass show. And you look at the reviews, and like half the reviews I found are mad at that one quote. Because they said a thing about guns once in the 100 hours you invested in the show. It's like, holy shit, people get mad. Like, there's gonna be someone. There's gonna be someone in the comments, right? Look down in the blue.
That's the one thing that I will say is the most impressive consistency I have ever seen on a global scale. Y'all fucking suck. Like, you all, like, every person sucks when it comes to a political topic. There is not a single country on earth where the citizens of that country don't suck when it comes to a political discussion. I don't know why it's so hard for you fucking idiots to just have a conversation about something where the result doesn't have to be screaming like a lunatic who just got born out of a womb about the fact that the thing is not the thing being said isn't positive to you.
Netflix reviews are awful. Literally, every time I open...
Who the fuck reads a Netflix review?
I keep finding myself opening it up and just glancing at it, and I'm like, it's always there.
I have never...
Well, here's the 2 reviews you find on Netflix. 1, the dog dies. There's always the people that like they killed a dog. There's always the episode where a dog, like if a dog dies somewhere in the show or movie, you're gonna get a bunch of reviews about that shit. Just bringing that up. And the other thing is the SJW plague. Like, just I'll watch these things, and I'll literally like I'll watch the whole thing, the whole movie or the whole show. Then I'll read the reviews about the evil SJWs, and then I just try. It's a fun game for me where I try to figure out what scene they're even talking about, and I fail. On a regular basis, I completely fail to even find what scene they could have been mad about. Where I'm like, oh, okay, what was the political agenda scene they're mad about? Like, obviously the gun scene. I very much remember that quote. Cause
also, that's not SJW.
But like, there's so many other scenes where I'm like, all right, I watched this whole show or this whole movie, and there's like, I had to scroll for a bit to get past the 10 like anti-SJW reviews. They're all mad about the SJWs, and I'm like, is it because there was a woman in it?
She's been in it the whole show.
Like, is it literally because there was a woman in the show? Is that why everyone's mad? Like that half the time I'm like, I can't. It's consistent too. I can't escape the SJW reviews, and I'm just like, it's a fun game to try to reverse engineer what the review is about.
We should probably just change it. I think SJW should just be like society. Just why? Just why? What the fuck is wrong? Like,
just
why? Like, every time I see someone arguing about, like, the damn SJW, I'm like, just why? Why did you need to say that?
Works, society, just why?
Yeah, just why, guys? Why the fuck does it matter? Like, if like someone shows up and is like, I wish black people go out more movies, like, SJW problem. It's like, just why does it matter? It's a movie. You know what you can do? Not watch it. People act like SJW somehow, like, are like Zeus. They're coming down and like throwing lightning bolts that destroy civilization by the pure mention of like, hey, we got a black guy to be the lead actor. Fucking San Francisco's gone. Nuclear explosion. Never coming back from that.
It's one of those things where it's one of those things where it's like it's almost like they're people who need real problems. They just need actual problems in their life so that they can actually have some perspective.
Then they can talk about themselves because they're actual problems.
Like one of the more confusing things I saw that people got mad about is that the game BattleTech, when you're making a character, you can choose he, she, or them as your pronoun.
Mm-hmm.
And that people were
as your
furious.
pronoun? You choose your pronoun as a...
Yeah.
Why?
It's just part of gender selection. You just pick he, she, or them.
What happens if you pick them?
Then you're non-binary.
Do you pick, like, does it make your character look androgynous?
I don't know. You just pick one.
Do you turn into a slime?
In fact, you can pick your gender separately from picking your portrait or whatever.
Why is that relevant?
You're making your character in a game where you make characters, which is, like, supposedly more features of customization is always supposed to be good for character creators.
Yeah, if it adds something to the feature.
But you add them, and it's like, now we're mad because the switches are ruining society.
Well, I guess I'm not understanding the context for this. Like, is it a role-playing game, or is it...
It's a game where you make your character.
No.
It's just any game with a character creator.
Why the fuck does it have gender?
Because it affects how they talk to you.
It does?
When people address you, they need to know they need to know your gender.
I mean, they could just talk to me without using those.
But that's how people speak.
Well, sure, but then
that's just I get it.
Then just go based.
I am with you on the idea that the fact that we have to gender stuff constantly is kind of weird to begin with.
It's kind of just tiring, honestly.
I'm not psyched about how every time I talk about a fucking dinosaur in a video game, I just default to saying he or she or whatever because that's how we talk about living things, and then I get corrected about misgendering something when I was really just saying the word you use to address a thing in general.
Did someone actually get mad at you for misgendering a dinosaur?
Oh yeah, all the time.
I will fucking...
That's a constant thing for Monster Hunter. I don't think it's some sort of social justice thing. I think it's people are just mad that I'm misgendering a fictional creature because they're just pedantic nerds about shit and they're being an asshole about it. But I'm saying, I get it. I am definitely frustrated in the fact that anytime you address a human being or talk about a fictional character, you pretty much always talk about it as he or she, and it's that split's kind of unnecessary.
Is it?
They're just people and stuff. But since we do speak that way, it is useful when you're making a character to choose male, female, or non-binary or whatever, just because that way for the whole game, all the text generated to talk to you that says your name or says he or whatever is just correct. It's like when you pick a male or female shepherd, and throughout the game their dialogue knows you're male or female. A lot of the time they cut the corner out by just saying shepherd.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, do they actually acknowledge you?
They definitely say he or she.
Really?
Yes. In the opening monologue, they say she's been through a lot. When they talk about, when they're showing that window.
Yeah.
And it's brr, 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 they survived a coups or whatever the fuck origin you chose. And they'll say he or she. And they'll say he or she throughout the game a number of times whenever they're talking about it.
I don't even notice it.
Yeah. You would notice if it was wrong, though.
No, I play a female shepherd.
Yeah. No, I'm saying you would notice if it was wrong, because it'd be
no.
You'd be like, what the fuck?
I'm saying people do that with my dog all the time. I think it happens to animals all the time. People
it happens to dogs constantly because we insist because we're so neat.
I don't care if people come up with oh, Shadow's such a good girl. Okay, you know who's insulted by that? Literally no one.
Yeah,
because it's stupid.
But because we've put so much emphasis on gender, if you say it or something, then it's do you hate my dog? That is a thing. So we have to say he or she or something or an equivalent.
I do
because
kids.
people react strongly to you saying it or they and stuff like that. It's it's you're objectifying or dehumanizing the creature or whatever.
I had that.
So that's just part of our social construct.
I had that argument.
And so it makes complete sense. We've always picked the gender of our created characters.
Sure, I guess.
And having a third option.
We always pick the sex of them.
Having a third option has literally never hurt anybody ever. Yeah. Also, even if you're just talking about sex is non-binary. Because there's people that aren't born purely he or she biologically, not even mentally.
You get he, she, hermaphrodite.
Yeah,
that's it. Those are the three options.
That's the third one.
It's not non-binary.
Binary means two. That's a third one.
Being a hermaphrodite is so rare.
Because people keep arguing about all these mental things.
I thought hermaphrodites are technically usually fixed during birth.
People keep arguing about all the mental things about whether or not it's real or whatever the fuck and all that shit. And it's but even if you go purely biologically, there are non-binary births, and those people just exist.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we usually fix them in when they're young.
It is common that they often, because they're young and you're so mutable or whatever the fuck.
You're nothing.
You're so like infinitely healing and generating as you go and shit like that because you're young.
You're nothing.
That like yes, people do like they usually what happens. I think that they ask the parents to choose a gender. Or to choose a sex, basically.
Do they do that?
That's what I've heard.
That is awesome. I want my kid to be hermaphrodite.
It's a weird like you.
That's like a character creator. You're like, shit. What do I want? Do I want a boy? Do I want a girl?
Like
what do I need right now? I need someone to do the lawn. I need a boy.
It is
like,
short of like Gattaca shit going on. It is like the closest thing to like a character creator moment in real life is when you have a kid. And the really specific mutation happens where the doctors then like choose a gender or choose a sex for them.
It's like the start of Fallout 3.
Are you a boy or a girl?
Yeah.
Like Professor Oak says to.
But the kid, you know, like in Fallout 3 when they grab the kid and they like
it's Professor.
Yeah, it's like
it is like a real life Professor Oak, which is like a terrifying thing because like if you pick like there's like this horrifying this horror like it's so much parenting's scary and it's so much power. And one of like it's enough to just have to deal with like you name the kid and shit like that, and they're stuck with that for the longest time. But like the idea that you chose their sex is like that fucks with me.
Why?
That's much. That's too much.
Is it?
Yes.
I think it's. I actually find it to be better.
It literally affects their. It literally affects like the trajectory of their entire life in so many ways. And
it could be for the better.
That's crazy, and especially if you choose wrong.
How do you choose wrong?
Like if they're trans or something, you're like, oh fuck.
Well, that's not really choosing.
I chose the wrong side of this coin flip here.
Well, I mean, you chose what you wanted, which is the kind of the point of a child for like the better part of its most of its life.
I'm just saying, like, if there's any, it's like if there's any good reasoning for someone being trans ever, it'd be like the idea of like they were literally born both, and you chose one, and they felt the other one. You're like, oh fuck.
But that can't happen.
Yeah?
No.
It's super. Are we really going to try to do the like trans people don't exist thing or something?
I'm just saying, like, as a baby, you have no concept of anything.
But you develop in a certain direction, and it's totally possible that the way you're born could affect that, regardless if they like then choose the wrong one and stuff.
Sure, but again, that's like at the moment when you're choosing it, the baby has nothing. There's no it doesn't come pre-installed with the boy OS. I understand
how you could not comprehend how this is a weighty decision. You're like not even giving credence to this idea.
Mostly because children.
Are you insane?
No, because children are malleable. You can convert them into anything you want them to be, so long as you do it enough. So if you choose it to, well, no, I'm being serious. Like I'm having a serious conversation.
You're going to be the JROTC, and you're going to be Hitler. And
the point I'm making isn't an invalid argument. You can force a child to believe that it is a certain thing for as long as you want to, because a kid will never grasp the concept of other things unless you give it that. Unless you give it that option, it never knows that it has the other option. Sure, you have the people that are like, I always felt like I was a girl. Yeah, but if you were never given the option to express that, you would have just suppressed it and just gone through life normally.
I'm not normally.
Well, normally in the sense based on your parents' decision to make you a boy.
That so many people in society have horrible things where they suppress themselves.
Yes, sadness. The point I'm making is that like,
I would say most people do that.
What? Just suppress things?
Yeah.
Sure, but that's. I mean, and again, you do it either because of your own will or because of someone else forcing you to suppress it.
Yeah.
So I'm saying it's not a weighty decision because you can just push someone's head into the ground and make them what you want until they eventually just accept it. It's not a weighty decision because it all depends on how willing you are to commit to keeping their head in the ground.
To being like a sociopath.
Yeah. And that's the thing though. Children aren't meant to be anything.
This is the weirdest course to go down.
Yes, and I get it. People do care about it. That's fine. I don't because that's why I'm not going to have children. But the point is that like you have to understand.
You just completely lack the empathy of the idea of even processing the concept of why it'd be a weighty decision.
It's not about empathy. You're a fucking renewable resource. Like we just can throw you away and make new ones. If you say
the empathy is with me.
What?
Because I'm posing this concept that would be like a super weighty decision for me. Like, oh fuck. And you can't empathize with even that idea.
I can't because you're giving too much credence to human life and that they don't deserve that much. A person that okay, for instance, a parent could have a hermaphrodite child, choose to make it be a boy. It grows up, says, actually, I want to be a girl. kill it, make a new one. You can by proxy, or not by proxy.
Let's just move on.
No,
you're not interested in having like a real conversation.
I'm having a real conversation. The point, like, seriously, listen to me. The point I'm making is that people are ridiculously expendable. You can just create new life so abundantly that this fraction of an idea that you have some kind of importance or weight, or like, you know, like decisions about human life matters. It's like, no, you can just make new ones. Like, it's fine. Just throw it away. It's broken. Make a new one. Like, that's the thing. Humans are just like kind of toys for children that you can just get rid of and make new ones.
Nihilist conversations are just kind of boring.
It's not,
because it's one conversation repeating forever.
Sure.
Nothing matters. Fuck everything. That's not a good podcast.
Well, it's not. I'm not saying it's like fuck everything. I mean,
but that is like,
you have to keep you have to keep it alive. You can't just kill every single person on the planet. The point I'm saying is that, like, you can't.
You literally said that earlier.
No, I'm saying you can't.
You literally said that earlier.
Well, I would like to, yeah. But that's me. That's different. I'm saying normal people. Normal people don't feel like. The
conversation just goes back to the same place forever every time.
Sure. I mean,
it's like, fuck it, kill everyone, nothing matters, and then you just raise your hands and be like, it doesn't matter. It is a response to every conversation.
I wasn't trying to be nihilist.
It's never good. You are though.
No, I am nihilist, but I'm not saying like it's being nihilist in the conversation.
Yes, you are.
I'm not trying to be nihilist.
It's the most boring fucking topic because it always is the same conversation.
Nah.
It could be the same conversation about every topic.
Well, there are things to care about.
That's what nihilism is. It's just this boring fucking hole.
You need to care about the planet. Like, you can't fuck up the planet.
No, you don't. It can outlast everybody. It's easy.
Well, it can, but don't be a fucking
Unless
dick.
You're gonna literally blow the whole thing up. Like, it pretty much just comes back.
You could. Yeah, but that's the thing. You could devastate it for, like, a long period of time. That's kind of fucking rude. Other things live here, asshole. You're not that important. You are a speck of nothing on the fucking planet. Don't be an ass and ruin it. Let the fucking animals have their turn. Piece of shit-ass human. Fucking arguing over nonsense shit and then destroying the earth.
That's why I can't watch any more Mad Bad.
Yeah, that's the reason why I don't go outside.
Oh, boy.
Here's the thing, is that there's so many people that get upset.
I thought you were about to Tim mention me for a second there.
No, there's so many people.
This universe is so vast and so beautiful. Can't that just be enough?
No.
Isn't this enough that you can't just make up more shit? Like, whatever the fuck the quote is.
Yeah.
You watch Storm, right?
Yeah.
That's a great line, like that part of it. Isn't this enough, you homeopathic bastard?
My thing is, like, there's so many battles that are worth fighting. And, like, there's so many battles that are worth fighting in the world.
But children isn't one of them, even though they're all of the foundation of all of our concept of society.
But certain things are just not worth the fight.
Yeah, which was my argument.
Yeah.
That was my original argument. It was like, some of these people need real problems just because, like, they clearly have nothing to argue about if, like, BattleTech was ruined as a video game because when they got to the gender selector, they had a third option.
I don't notice it. And I don't know how people can live their lives noticing it. That's my takeaway. Yeah. I don't get it. If someone walked up to me and I was like, hey, Andrew, how you doing, girl? I wouldn't care.
It doesn't even add more steps to character creator because it's already there. We already pick a gender and there's just another option. And it's like, this doesn't... It's like, it literally doesn't affect anything.
They didn't write special dialogue for those branches.
And these,
like, it's not like the boys get better dialogue than the girls,
literally,
you know,
it's
kind of thing.
That word and adding it into the insert gender here slot that was already there before they added a third one.
Yeah.
They could add the color green as a gender, and they'll just say green mid-sentence in a weird broken grammar way. Like, it's a word replacer.
Keith, green is a gender.
It's built into the dialogue already.
Don't put down green people. All right?
Like, at some point, it's so easy to add, especially when you're not in voice acting, that it's like you're being almost like a dick for not doing it because of how easy it is. You're almost like making an active choice not to do it.
I would not go that far. I would say if you want to put it in, there's no reason why you shouldn't. If you don't want to put it in, who the fuck cares? Because at the end of the day, it's your game. You make it the way you want. And if you don't like it, then don't play it.
I just can't process being a person that, like, it's a fully featured product with so many things going on in it, and like then it's this genre and that thing, and it's like, oh, it's my one opportunity to play this underrepresented genre, and it's like, oh, it's coming out on Steam and I can't wait. It's like I backed it on Kickstarter and all this other shit, which is how those games are made, by the way. That company's games are all made up for Kickstarter projects to begin with, and then after all this hullabaloo and you're facing a 100-hour mech warrior campaign coming up, you're like, but there's another option, and the character creator has ruined it. Like, what are these fragile ass people? What are these fragile ass things?
If I was to go based on Twitter, it's Democrats and Republicans. Those people are the fragile babies.
What's crazy is those are the people that'll say words like triggered, and it's like that's like a condescending thing for like, haha, I triggered you by offending you on this thing. It's like you were offended by the words them existing.
Yeah. This goes back to...
Like, it literally just existed, and you're like, this may be bad. I'm boycotting them now, because they used a 4-letter word once that's not offensive in any context.
That goes back to... That just circles back to exactly the point I was saying, which is, like, there is no single fucking society or country that handles political topics well.
Everyone's fucked up
You're
and wrong.
all wrong. You know what the worst part is? Even centrists are wrong. The people who are just in the center going like, you guys are kind of okay on some topics.
Centrist jokes are my favorite jokes.
Those people are like just as wrong. And I'm like, how do you fuck up being the middle neutral sense? Like,
I've read some really funny centrist jokes recently. Like, people,
what does it even mean?
Like,
I don't even know what that means.
There was a tweet where somebody was saying like, yeah, I just got back from the latest centrist rally where we all got together and held hands and agreed that things can't get any better. like, we just agree to not change anything and not improve anything. We'll just stay right here.
But you know what?
It's great.
They're wrong. Both Democrats and Republicans hate centrists, and it, like, I just there's a point at which I just start like people will talk about politics, and I look at them and I'm like, how do you have the time to be so fucking bored that you would look up mindless garbage? Like, you could read People magazine, and it would be more fulfilling to your life than a political discussion any day of the week.
Yeah, because
every political discussion is just both parties slapping each other in the face and then going like, how could you do that? Think of the people.
I've largely retreated from political debate with anyone I ever know, just because, like, no, I've literally not once in my entire life witnessed anybody change their opinion on any topic ever.
Really?
I'm not even saying like, wow, what a transition. You went all the way to Democrat to Republican or whatever the fuck happened. Literally, like, I've never seen someone change their mind in any conversation. Like, you can, like, somebody can pose a thing.
I don't know about that, Keith.
Is like,
I don't believe
the dumbest shit, and you can pose irrefutable proof of them being completely wrong on the entire subject, and you can do it calmly and politely and just show, like, see, here's the new information that completely just fucking pulls out the rug under everything.
Yeah.
And they always just stop at most. Like, either they'll completely disregard what you say and just move on. Half the time they just don't say anything at all and move on and like just don't acknowledge the evidence. Other times they'll just deflect to like a completely different subject they're mad about, and as if that's what the conversation's about, and just like do that shit.
Yeah,
you see my dad do that all the time, where he'll just say something bizarrely irrelevant because he just needs to win or something, as opposed to acknowledge the topic. Like when we talked about like the Obama phone that Reagan wouldn't stand for, which Reagan started, that whole thing.
Ring ring.
Which and then he'll just like, I'll show that evidence and he'll just bring it up again later, as if that, like, he'll just forget about the evidence that proved it wrong and just bring it up again. And what really broke me down was just watching like, was it Radio? No, not Radio Lab. It was the You Are Not So Smart podcast, and they discussed like the concept of like how they've scientifically tried to analyze this stuff. At first, there was elements of the backfire effect, which then Oatmeal did a whole comic about, but then the backfire effect largely proved to be kind of wrong, or at least in the exact terms that they use, but also still true in other elements. But ultimately, like, they do all these, all this research you can do, it just shows that, like, no debate really changes anyone's mind on anything, really.
No.
And it's just a waste of time.
Yeah.
And we're all, like, permanently flawed and ingrained in whatever we landed on, and we're just going to stick with that forever for so many subjects.
Okay.
And that's
curious, but okay.
Just fucking, like, that seems to be the takeaway.
I feel like
everyone sucks.
I feel like people personally,
and if you're ever going to change your opinion on something, it's certainly not going to be because somebody else did it.
Yes.
No one else is going to change your mind on anything.
And that is correct. And I agree with that. That is fine. As long as you're a person who's willing to continue learning. If you're not a person who's willing to keep learning, then stop.
Oh, people constantly stop learning. It sucks.
But that's the thing. It's like, I get into debates because I want to bother people. I don't get into debates because I want to change my mind. I don't need you. You're not going to change my mind. You're garbage. I will change my mind by learning facts, because...
Oh, we all know no one will change your mind.
Yes, and that's good.
We're well aware.
Because I don't want to live my life by what other people say, because I am a human being with consciousness, and I can...
But other people can be right.
They could be. You know, it could also be right. The facts that they're using that information from to tell me that I'm wrong. So shut the fuck up and just give me the facts, and I'll read those facts and then change my mind. I don't want to hear it from you, you scumlord human. You're going to misinterpret those memories. You're not going to remember every word for word from that article. So shut the fuck up. Give me the source. I'll read it and then change my mind accordingly. I don't want to hear somebody tell me.
It might have been one of the only times I've ever witnessed myself even change somebody's mind.
What?
Was when I showed you and Joe the facts about amnesia.
Yeah. I
was like, yeah, they clearly just put the story on afterwards. Here's the evidence where they changed the entire setting, like late into development, and
I'm not
revamped everything.
I personally, I don't.
That's because it's not a topic anyone cares about.
I care about it.
No, I mean, like, it's not a topic you attach identity to.
Oh, okay. Right, I forgot that. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Like, a lot of arguments are about things that people put value in to a point where their personal worth is somehow attached to being right about the thing.
Yeah.
And so, like, that might be, like, a weeb being mad about opinions of anime, or people caring too much about Star Wars to the point where I say... Oh, because that happened recently when the fucking thing was like, remake Last Jedi. I'm like, hey, maybe you guys could make your own sci-fi universe with all that money, kind of like how Lucas did that when he couldn't do a Flash Gordon movie but wanted to make one. And he just made Star Wars, and that was kind of cool how he did that. Maybe you should make whatever the fuck Words Together is yours that's called. And someone's response was from my fans was, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, just mad at me. And I'm like, sorry for trying to make the world a better place with more rich fiction and stuff instead of just nerd raging our own fan fiction because somebody got the story wrong that we don't own, that they own. It's their story to tell.
Yeah.
You can tell your own story. But fuck it. It's like people will take, if it's Star Wars or anime or political parties, like it's not just a matter of like opinion, but like they attach their personal identity to the various opinions they're in. Yeah. And then you get groupthink shit going on where, like, if you think of yourself as being, like, liberal or conservative or something, and a bunch of liberals say this or something, then then suddenly you're like, oh, shit, do I need to think that? And, like, an ongoing thing is, like, I refuse to comment on so many political topics because I don't have a strong opinion on them. Yeah. And even if my, like, a party or this party is supposed to think this way or that, like... It's often like a thing that's irrelevant to my life or a thing that sounds really complicated that I'm not willing to just make a guess at, which a lot of people will just confidently do. Yeah. I very carefully avoid a bunch of things that I'm not confident on. Makes sense. I don't affect my life directly, so I'm not going to like try to pretend to have an opinion on it.
And that's not a bad way to go about it.
But people will do like these like tribe think stuff where they'll manufacture opinions about things that they would never encounter in real life because other people that think similar to them think that, and they're like an approval system where you would seek other people's approval, and then you just get used to arguing that point long enough that now it's like ingrained to you, and now you'll be emotionally attached to your conclusion of that thing that doesn't even affect your life, and so on. That's probably why people are mad at them.
The best example of this is European countries that have long since not had guns, like yelling at, like, say Republicans for like liking guns. They're like, you're wrong. How dare? It's like, this isn't like a battle that you really should be investing yourself into because like you don't grow up around the culture. You don't grow up around the thing.
Outsiders.
Like you're outside, but not just because you're outsiders. It's because it's like you said, it's a topic that has no weight to you. You don't have to worry about guns being legal in your country ever. Because they're not legal in your country.
But at the same time, I do think Americans should be concerned about other countries. And you look at these other countries and it's like, they figured some shit out. Maybe we should see if we can.
And that's fine. But it needs to be relevant to things that we have in our own country.
The unfortunate thing is when people are completely unreceptive to the idea of even looking at when other countries have figured things out, like healthcare. Yeah. It's like... Why, like, when you look at, like, hey, why is it that we get shittier healthcare than almost anyone, but we pay way more for it? Isn't that obviously a problem? And some people won't even acknowledge that as being a problem. I'm like, but it's a fucking graph. Like, it's really easy to look at.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like
don't you want to pay don't you want to have just a better system?
You know what the best part is?
Just a clear efficiency problem.
That like there's even it's more worse than that. It's like it is ingrained in your body to believe that, like, as an American, to believe that
it's like people
medical
won't
help.
that the problem exists in the first place because the top 5 obvious potential solutions to even look at all align with a different party's ideals.
Yeah.
So therefore, they can't even acknowledge the first problem to begin with because they know it opens the door to the other stuff, and it's like this weird cognitive problem where they'll just.
But you know, it doesn't help anybody.
I've had such long conversations with people that think these things, and I'm like,
the problem I have is that it doesn't. It's not good because I learned very quickly. Like when I was in France, I fucked up my knee really badly skiing, and I could just go to the doctor if I wanted to, but I didn't because I was like, I don't have the money for that. And I just
because you're like afraid of American doctors.
And I was like, by default, I was like, oh, this country.
That's a genuine thing. Like that's the thing I have to tell people.
Yeah.
Like right along the time when I'm telling them, yes, we do have a Pledge of Allegiance, like we're North Korea or something. We also
I still don't get that.
It's a weird.
I just still don't get the weird. I still don't. I'm somebody who has no standing issue.
It's the one thing where like where America looks like a dystopian fiction.
Does it?
Is when all of our children stand up to pledge allegiance to their military and shit.
That's like the one topic I don't have any opinion on, because people are like, that's so bad. I'm like, I just ignore it. I don't get it. As a kid, I didn't do it. No one said anything. I just stopped paying attention. I just drew in class while everyone was saying words, and I assumed that was okay.
And I'll say this again because people because the international people get shocked because they don't even know this about us. Every day in school, we stand up as a class, all face the flag, and say the Pledge of Allegiance with the intercom blaring because it's a school-wide thing too.
Touch your heart.
Yeah,
that's
you touch your heart
because you're a patriot.
Yeah,
of the country.
Or I think some of the JROTC students used to salute or something, or was that it?
JROTC students have to salute the flag because they are enlisted.
Yeah.
But regular citizens have to put their hand over their heart because that is. Oh, right, because the Nazis ruined it.
Because the Nazis.
They did. Because our old.
Oh, no.
You don't remember that?
We almost got a whole podcast without Nazis. Well, actually, I said Hitler earlier.
The old American salute was
it the arm up?
Yeah, it was the arm up.
Oh no!
And we had to change it because the Nazis were like, "That's pretty cool." And we're like, "No, we like that."
Stop ruining it. Oh no, not the mustache too. No, Charlie Chaplin. No,
Charlie Chaplin's like, America's the great. Oh no! He's like, everything's gone downhill. I can't have my mustache. I can't praise the American flag. What will I do?
This is the weirdest episode.
No, but I remember watching. God, what was it? There was something. I watched like a documentary on like America back in the day, and they had the people saluting that way. I was like, oh my god, we were Nazis. And it's like, no, the Nazis took that from us. Like, they took the Nazi symbol and they took, they kept taking everybody else's cool stuff and using it for their own stuff.
But to recap previous conversation about Andrew fucking up his knee. Yeah, Americans are afraid of going to the doctor.
Yeah.
This is hard. This is another thing that people don't get.
I haven't been.
Like, it's not a thing that people understand. I don't go to the doctor for years. Because it'll cost me a bunch of money on top of the money I'm already paying.
Yeah,
and most of the stuff that can even potentially happen at the doctor is just news of spending more money now. Because by the way, now it's time to spend more money. And it's like you going to the doctor can like bankrupt you in a society where so many people are living like paycheck to paycheck and shit like that, and have the stats like was it like the vast majority of Americans have like less than $1,000 in savings or something like that?
Yes.
It's like people are afraid to go to the doctor, and it's because our system punishes you for going to the doctor by and large. And
people don't
get checkups, and people get punished, and you lead to situations where like John Bain was like get checked early, don't make my mistake, because he wasn't getting checkups, and then he had cancer that was too late in the process to really do much about, and he just had to live with it until he didn't, because he couldn't if he caught it early. Like, you might have been able to do something. And that's what he said himself was his takeaway to the initial diagnosis. Get checked. And it's like, but people are afraid to go to the doctor because our system punishes you for it. I mean,
that's the same thing that happened for my mom, too, was that she got checked too late.
Yeah.
Because she, again, was like, I don't have the time to go. And 2, I can't afford it. So I'll just wait until, like, I'm not going to go and get, checks done unless there's, like, a need. You know, there's a symptom or something's happening.
Mm-hmm.
We don't go to the doctor until we're already fucked. Like, that's the methodology, because
and when people are fucked, they start off by trying not to go to the doctor for a while.
Yeah.
And they do home doctoring effects. They make up homeopathy garbage and try to do that, see if that works up. They try to just wait it out. They do some bed rest and bullshit and like a bunch of things to just avoid going to the doctor, even when they're not going to work already.
Yeah.
Like, they'll just try to do other things to avoid going to the doctor. Like, my dad has been to the doctor for emergency reasons several times now, when like he could have been getting checked up and it would have been better off.
Yeah.
It's like he's had like organ failure style problems, and I'm like, suddenly I just get a call and I'm like, okay, I'm going to that one military base hospital now, and I'm getting to deal with like multiple times now. I've got to like, oh shit, how hard is it to get on base? I'm like, oh fuck, I've got to get to the visitor center, and I've got to like prove my identity. They got to do a background check just so I can drive through at all.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a whole ordeal, and I'm like, oh fuck, because my stepmother is military, so they go to that hospital.
I worked for I used to work for a card company. We were talking about buying cards and they're useless. Yes, they are. I used to work for
cards.
Cards. What
kind of cards? I need context for what you're talking
about. American Greetings.
Oh, okay.
So the greeting
that was
cards.
like my last guess.
Yeah. I
was really trying to reverse back. I'm like, Wizard of the Coast?
No.
Or like with the bicycle? Is that what it's called? Bicycle?
Yeah.
It's the brand of cars where you put them on your bike?
Yeah. No, I worked for like the greeting card company is what they call it.
Oh, right. Because you used to set up the stands for your jobs.
Used to break them. That was my job.
That was the fun part.
Yeah.
I guess they come set up, kind of.
They do, actually.
Yeah.
They come in pallets that are already pre-set up and you just go like, and poop. But we had to go on base for one of the jobs. And we go to the visitor center.
And it's like work to get through.
It is, but
it's time.
So they do all the background checks.
I saw some of Batman vs Superman.
Oh, while sitting there waiting?
Because they had that for some reason, just to punish you more. It was on mute, so I was watching it in silence.
Even better. We went for the job because we had to do a job on the commissary on the base. And there's me, my boss, and 3 other employees with us. The other 3 employees had failed the background check for the same reason. All 3 of them failed for the same reason.
And that was?
Sexual misconduct with a minor.
What?
Yeah.
What a thing to just fucking find out one day. Yeah. What?
I was like, wow, all 3 of you? That's impressive. Well, I guess it's me and my boss going on base because you guys are denied access going on base.
What is the demographic for that job?
I don't know. It was, I thought it was.
Oh my God.
It was the most impressive thing I've ever seen because my boss knew about one of them. And so,
oh my God.
And so he was like, oh, that's, like, I know one of them won't pass. It's fine. Like, he'll probably have to stay here. But then when the other 2, he was like, how the fuck were you all in the same room? Was it all the same person? How did you do this? Like, how the fuck could you all have the same, how do you all, 3 different random people fail a background check for the same reason? That is crazy.
I'm also surprised that the answer for why was so public.
Well, I mean, it's on your paper.
Yeah, I know. I'm just surprised that they passed out the answer for everyone to see. Apparently,
they had to give it to the boss. I mean, because they couldn't go on base to do the job.
Yeah, but I just think there'd be a little more privacy of like you've confirmed that they can't go on, and they could just say that. Like the guy at the counter could just say that, but he like the need to hand in the reason is like, oh, that's some new information to provide to people.
I mean, that's the thing. I only knew about it because we ended up having to do like, because my boss didn't say anything in the beginning. He was just like, oh, they got denied. It's just going to be me and you, Andrew. We're going to have to go on base and do it. But we were there for 13 hours because the job
took forever. With 60% of your workers gone.
And they had by the way, they had to wait there at the visitor center for 13 hours.
Was it only you 2?
Yes.
Yeah, so you lost 60% of your workforce, and they just all sat there.
They sat at the visitor center waiting for us. And so when I got back, I was furious. I was like, what the fuck did all of you people do to not get allowed in? What the like you like, and my first response was like, you literally have to rape a child to do that. Fuck. And the thing was like, it wasn't rape. I was like, you fucking, how do you even? Like,
no, that's not the response you want to hear. It's like, Not the, like, no, of course not, but, like, the justification.
Yeah.
That's not the response you want to hear to that question.
That's pretty much my response. Like, I don't fucking care if it was like consensual or not. Don't fuck children. Like, what the? Come on. It's like, God.
You managed to find a job where you were the moral high ground.
Somehow I was Obi-Wan.
What?
I don't know how the fuck that happened.
Our society's fucked. If Andrew can even find rooms like that.
I was surprised the base let me on. Honestly.
Yes, I'm surprised you're not on a list or something.
I was like, what?
Do you think you're on a list yet? When's the last time you went on base?
A couple of years ago. I don't really tend to hang around that plot.
You just go try it again as an experiment. See if they let you on or not.
I did have trouble. I went with Mackenzie because he has his ID for base because he's a vet.
Yeah.
And so we were going on to base for some reason. And the guy was like, I need to see the ID of the person in the car. And I was like, yeah, I guess it's fine. You could see that or whatever. I hope he does. And I asked, I was like, were you like running a background check?
That day were you worried they wouldn't let you on?
Oh yeah, I don't know what my record is anymore.
That's interesting you think that. I have definitely never failed any background check, and the last one was not too long ago.
I haven't taken one in a long time, for very good reasons. Mostly because I don't know what it is, and I don't. I usually just.
Can you self background check?
Yeah, you can, but I'm not gonna pay for that. Like, it's no point. I think more than likely it would probably be okay. I've never been convicted of a crime, so.
Boy, this is an interesting tightrope you're on right now. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I've committed crimes but never been convicted of them. So technically it doesn't show up on a background check unless you're convicted.
I've committed crimes.
I mean, we all commit crimes.
Yeah, I've paid like $1,000 for my crimes.
That's pathetic.
Yeah.
$1,000, excuse me. $2,500 in speeding tickets, yeah boy! In 1 year.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh no, that means you paid even more because of insurance.
Yeah.
Because you can't take traffic school.
Nope.
It's like 1.5 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I got to take traffic school sometime the next few months.
I got two of those.
I'm pretty sure I could just Google the answers, although I'll probably just know them. I don't know.
You'll probably Google them.
I haven't done traffic school since I was in college. But for those who don't know, in California at the very least, if you get a speeding ticket or some other kind of relatively innocent driving infraction where they charge you and
if you get a misdemeanor,
it'll put a point on your record which affects your insurance prices and stuff. But if you have, what you can do is you can go to traffic school.
Yeah.
And you pay like $50 or whatever to enroll in that, and you take the test and do the material or whatever. And since you can do it online, you can really just burn through it.
Yeah.
And then that stops the point from going on your record. But you can only do that once every 16. I think it's 18 months. Every
18 months.
year and a half.
Yeah.
So you have to still like be not. So that gives you 18. It's not bad as like a deterrent, and that for like 18 months you're like, oh fuck, don't fuck up again, or I'd actually get a punishment.
Yeah, and I
think the first punishment.
And I think if you get a certain amount of points within a certain amount of time, they will just like suspend your license.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Three points and you lose your license.
Yeah. So,
which that sounds like you were on your way there.
Yeah, it helped that like 2 of my tickets were like $500 each.
Fuck.
It was.
I've never paid that much for a ticket.
Well, that's because I've
also only ever had speeding tickets and one parking ticket that I still think is bullshit.
I mean, you're not a bad person in that sense. One of my tickets was for running a stop sign and a red light.
Yeah, that's you. That's on you.
Well, look.
It's definitely on you.
It was 3 a.m.
I have never gotten a ticket for running a red light, but I've had a couple of close calls where I thought I might get in trouble later, and I didn't. You know that moment where you think you saw a flash and you're not sure, and you're like, did I just cut it close enough that a camera got me? And I don't know, but I've never gotten like a letter
thing in the mail,
to say like, you're fucked.
Yeah, I think most of the time I've always committed like car crimes.
Misdemeanors, I think they're called.
They're just misdemeanors. Anytime I've committed a misdemeanor in a car, it's like that, like something serious. It's always in the middle of the night, like 2, 3 a.m. in the morning.
I got one of my tickets I got because I was speeding in the middle of the night when there was no other cars.
Yeah.
I was just like
and
unconsciously driving faster in the emptiness on a freeway.
Yeah.
Like it was like a 4-lane freeway that was just empty.
I don't
And
get...
so I just unconsciously started going faster in the nothing that I was driving through.
And I don't get why that's a crime.
It's
I do not
a
get...
bit of a bummer to get a ticket for that reason.
It's really weird that it's like, you are not allowed to drive over a certain speed limit.
The first time I got a ticket also was me driving, not on that, but the back roads here in town. And there was also no one. It's like a... It's a
2-lane...
It's by the freeway and like on the far end. And it's like... There's just no cars.
There's no one there.
So, but I drove like I drove like 55, and I'm like, oh shit, this is a 40 zone, isn't it? You forget even because the signs are once every like 5 miles.
Yeah, because no one's gonna put a sign in a road no one takes.
Yeah, there's barely any speed limit signs and no cars. I'm like, oh, but there was a cop apparently. Yay, they were hiding.
Yeah, I've never been one to agree with speed limits on freeways. I don't think it makes sense, really. I think it should always just be...
You think we should go Autobahn?
No, it should just be as fast as traffic is.
I mean, that's the reality of what it often is.
Well, yeah. So if there's no cars, just keep going faster.
Yeah.
Like, until you catch up. Also...
Just keep going faster till you catch up.
Yeah, but it's like, I also
don't... like, hang out in the middle, equidistant.
Well, I mean...
So that there's no traffic. Make sure you catch up with them so we can all group up and block the road.
Look, man, I'm going... like
I had a conspiracy today where I was driving on the freeway on the way here.
Okay.
And... there was just like a blockade of slow cars. And I'm just like, what's happening? There's like no one in front of them. And they're all just like driving in like side by side practically and just blocking the freeway and driving slower than the speed limit. And we were all just like, it was like we were being like herded like cattle. Like we were being controlled as a traffic flow. And I'm just like, what is happening? And every now and then a bike would go flying through and I'm like, they're free. Because I was like, what? Why is this happening? And I'm just like, I just waited it out, but I was like, is this like a conspiracy? Are they planning
I think they're probably like, it might have
eventually just staggered a bit and people could start like around them and shit. But I was like, why are they doing this?
Yeah.
Are they somehow not noticing this is happening?
No, I think it's on purpose. Like some people will just spitefully do that.
It's a weird day.
I watched that.
I've had the experience where a cop car does that on purpose.
Really?
They put their siren on and they're weaving in front of traffic really rapidly.
To slow you down.
They're literally shepherding you.
Yeah.
Like a sheepdog. Like they're just running back and forth and blocking all, because it's like 4 lanes of freeway being blocked by one police car just rapidly going back and forth, and you're supposed to just get the signal. And it's because something had to be cleared way down the road and they're just trying to slow traffic so it doesn't fully get stopped or whatever when it gets there.
Yes, they don't want you to like ram right into the blocked off road or whatever. Usually because there's a car accident or something, they don't want you just T-boning the accident. But I've seen it done to... I saw a guy who was speeding through one of those 2-lane freeways. Like, I guess it's a highway is what they call it, or opposite.
Highways?
I think highways are the smaller ones, and the freeways...
Well, yeah, there's not a freeway, they're a highway.
Yeah, they're highway.
Yeah, but, like the ones that are like in the back roads that lead to like Rio Vista and stuff like that, where it's just 2 lanes that go really fast in opposite directions.
Yes.
And there's usually a lot of warnings and like engraves everywhere.
Engraves.
That's the reality.
You're not wrong. There are just like a bunch of like crosses stuck in the side of the road, and it's like, these people died in an accident.
Highways always have way more graves than fucking freeways. There's memorials everywhere for all the countless people that have been killed on that stretch of land, and then they eventually put up like concrete dividers between the 2 lanes. Yeah, and then they eventually install like a law, like on this lane you have to turn your headlights on even during the day.
Oh,
like, they just keep adding more safety precautions to try to stop making people just stop dying there.
Yeah.
That happens like on the way to Rio Vista from here.
Yeah,
like that's all like there's now a cement divider in the middle, and there's designated passing zones where the road gets wider for a bit and then goes back to being one lane again, where people can try to weave around so they don't try to do it in other contexts. And you have to have your headlights on, and it's just a huge stretch of road where people die a lot.
Yep. There was
it's not a great time.
So I watched on one of those roads. I watched a guy who was just ducking and weaving through a bunch of cars. And he came up and he was about to pass this because there's like 2 trucks and they're going like kind of like this to each other, where one's in the slow lane, one's just going faster. They're going like this, and he's about to pull in front of the other one, and the other truck just speeds up just enough
to stop him,
and stops right in front of the other truck, and he rolls down his window and he's like, "Hey, how's it going, man?" And he's like yelling to the other truck driver, and the other truck driver's like, "It's pretty good, how are you?" And they're just talking to each other over through and you can hear it. I had the window open. They're just shouting to each other really loudly. and the guy that's behind him cannot move because it's 2 lanes. He can't get behind either truck, and he's sitting there honking furiously, like trying to get one. And I don't care. I'm going the speed limit. It's kind of funny to watch, because everyone's following the law. This guy's not.
One of my favorite moments of Schadenfreude is just any moment where there's a shitty driver that's losing at being a shitty driver.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's great.
Like earlier today, I had somebody that weaved. They were in the rightmost lane. They put on their signal, went to the center lane, like really abruptly, and like kind of cut people off. Then went back to the rightmost lane again immediately, still signaling left the whole time, and then went left again.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what are you doing? There's not even people to weave around. Like, it's kind of just a block of cars. Why are you trying to die?
Drunk.
Like, he's just trying, and the whole time, like, left signal was just on the whole time.
Yeah.
But even though he went right twice, and then as he kept driving forward, still left signal. I'm like, what?
People are just bad at driving.
Yeah.
It's like and
then people are like, I'm not getting no self-driving car. I might die. I'm like, I feel like I'm going to die every time I get in a car.
Yeah.
Every one of these podcasts I pay for with just a little bit of a dice roll on my life. And I feel it. I keep feeling people.
There's a lot of times where I've just been on the freeway, just driving normally in the one lane consistently. Everything's fine. And I'll see a car to my left or to my right, and it's just coming at me. And you have to go like,
what's happening?
You have to take this, like,
you realize that someone's like coming into your lane, and somehow like, did they just not see your car?
But that's the thing.
Like,
but
what's happening?
That's the worst part. You have to do like this. You have to stop time, like real quick. You have to like stop time and go, is this person making a mistake? Like they didn't see me, and they'll see me when they are about to hit me?
Yeah.
Or are they just swerving a little bit, will correct themselves and go back into the lane? Or are they just going to T-bone me and kill me right now?
Yeah.
Which decision will I take to countermeasure this one of these decisions? And you go like,
and then you're thinking like, do I slam on my brakes?
Yeah.
And get rear-ended by people behind me?
Exactly. And it's like
behaving like an insane person, or like,
and it's like, what do you do? My option, kill me.
Kill me. You just commit and see what happens.
Commit and see what happens. 90% of the time, people either go like,
you just always play chicken.
And then or like they'll either, they're just self-correcting, or they'll like almost turn, and they'll like, right as they're about to go, they'll like do that one last check over with like, okay, no, there's a car there. And I also
hate people that only signal while they're changing lanes.
Oh yeah.
They literally will only signal while they're changing lanes. They'll also, all in one fluid motion, they will look to the lane they're changing in while already changing lanes while signaling, and so you'll see them have the moment of, oh shit, there's a car there, swerve back, turn off their signal, and I'm like, that's not what signals are for.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be signaling your intent to change lanes, and then people can actually leave you space or something, and you can do this safely, but they will literally, not only will they signal while trying to change lanes, like while they're already in motion, but they'll only look while they're already turning the wheel. And I pointed out to Max once, and then during that drive, which was only 20 minutes, we saw it happen 3 times with 3 different cars, where they just go, JK.
Yeah.
Where it's like, that's not how signals work, and also not how changing lanes works.
Exactly.
Like, you're supposed to look first. What are you, insane?
But if you're the person who is about to get hit by that person, then it's terrifying.
Like, here comes my life.
Yeah, because you're like, what the fuck do I do? And I'm somebody, I will readily admit.
Or the fun of here in town going on like the on-ramps onto the freeway where you have to do the weird curving... Like the ones by like a
we have to merge,
like the one by Oscar Mayer and shit like that, where you do the fucking, you're curving up a sideways curving fucking crazy ass on ramp, and you have to like accelerate to the speed of traffic, and then once you get there, you're now crested over a hill and can finally see the freeway, just to see that there's a semi truck in the lane you're supposed to merge into that you're now moving at the speed of, and you're like, what the fuck do I even do right now?
I will readily admit I'm somebody who does not use turn signals.
Why are you a garbage human?
Because is that really like a valid question at this point?
I mean, I have like evidence.
Yeah, like so there's no
draw from.
But I learned my lesson very quickly that you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to live your life not using turn signals, because I was like shouted at for like almost 6 hours of driving in France by Naya, just like it was either seatbelts.
You're doing God's
signals.
work. You're doing God's work, Naya.
It was so much like. I got into a roundabout and I was like, roundabouts, you just kind of go into it and leave when you want. There's like fucking, apparently in Europe, there's like a book you got to read about roundabouts because they're like, there are rules and there's a life in here.
They're way more common, aren't they?
Well, yeah, but it's like there's like a.
Because here in town, I'm like, there's a roundabout if I drive 2 more towns over.
Yeah.
That one weird chunk of country road.
I mean, but
like on the way to like the community college, there's that one roundabout. I'm like,
there's a roundabout
hey,
there.
Look, it's the one.
There's also one. There's also one in Winters.
And you don't have to worry about much in that roundabout because it's always empty.
Yeah,
it's just an empty spot.
But
it's like, I guess no one has to stop.
But that's the thing is like roundabouts, you just kind of go in and then you just drive until you got to get out. That's just how it works. Not fucking here, man. You got to read the goddamn micro book involved in roundabouts where it's like, okay, you going in the roundabout, you got to make the turn signal, but you got to have your turn signal on at all times. Unless you're going to be doing a 360 turn, then you need to be going into the most center lane while still doing a turn signal that you're going to be doing a 360.
I'm kind of just surprised they let you drive.
It was fine. If it wasn't for the roundabouts.
I'm just kind of surprised they even let of all the people in the car, they let the American drive in.
Oh, the license.
Oh, they don't have licenses?
Naya doesn't have a license.
Oh, I guess that would do it.
Yeah, it's only me and her brother are the only ones.
Does the American license work?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah. I mean, American licenses...
Should it, though?
It should, yeah. I mean, it definitely should. Though, if that was the situation, like, American drivers, like, look, no, I am really good compared to American drivers because I haven't killed... Yeah, because I haven't killed any of you yet.
You haven't killed any of us yet. You've really fucked up your cars a few times.
But guess what? I've never died from it. No one else has ever died from it. And my cars always worked afterwards. So, the in conclusion here is I am way better than most Americans who get into accidents that just total the car, kill somebody, and everything shuts down.
I have never dented my car.
That's not true. You've gotten in an accident before.
No.
I thought you've, like, done a fender bender.
No. I've been in cars that were in accidents.
Oh.
I have never, ever even dented one of my cars.
Really?
Yeah.
It's good?
Kind of. One exception.
Would you hit it on something in a parking lot?
No, I've dented a license plate.
Okay.
My mom once went kind of through the wall of our driveway, of our garage.
I did that. I did that too.
Kind of like when it cloof, punched into the wall. So my dad put up like some wooden like reinforcement beams around like the grill level of the car on the wall of the garage, just like try to avoid that happening again. So a couple times when I would be parking the Firebird in the old garage, I would as I was stopping, like sort of just barely bump into like the beams that were kind of there, and it bent back the top of the license plate around like the frame of like with a reinforcement behind the license plate.
Oh, okay.
Because it wasn't a flat enough thing behind the license plate.
Yeah.
So it just got like bent back. But that's the only closest thing to a dent ever on one of my cars.
The first time I drove a car, I drove it through our garage. Like the wall into our house. I drew it like... for
me, the car tragedies were just 2 early parking mistakes where I scraped paint. That's it.
You've had such a very unfulfilled life.
Of not having expensive mistakes with my cars.
Yeah, I broke axles. I've broke I had
to replace my entire power steering because it just quit on me.
That's boring.
It was very expensive.
Well, yeah.
It wasn't very boring for my checkbook.
Well, no.
I was very concerned about my well-being and how I'm going to afford these things.
I mean, I took a turn going 70. I took a 25 turn going 70 miles per hour and hit the curb.
Yeah.
And I got super lucky because
I have hit a curb.
Oh, have you?
I popped a tire like a year ago.
That counts as an accident, by the way.
I'm still haven't been in a fender bender or a crash or dented my car.
You've never rammed into anybody else's car.
What I did is I took a right turn a little too sharply, and where I live, that curb right over there is weirdly sharp.
Oh yeah,
it is an angry curb.
Yeah,
and it just instantly took the tire out. I was like, oh great, that's shit. And it was because fucking Soltron took my parking spot, and I'm like, shit, I gotta do a U-turn, I gotta find a place around the corner to park because all the parking spots in front of the house are taken. I'm like, and then that happened. I'm like, today's a great day. this is me driving home from being here. I'm just like, fucking, I quit. I'm going to sleep. And then the next day I had to deal with like calling in, I called in AAA to like prop it up so we could replace it with a spare so I could go get tires and shit. I'm like, I don't need this in my life. But no, I never dented it.
I mean, I did, the turn I did was like the one over here where there's the There's that 4-way intersection that's really shit because people can just go through it and the light doesn't matter for some reason. It's like a LOL JK, we put lights for no reason.
Do people just ignore the light?
Yeah, you could just ignore the light.
What?
Because
do you mean because they don't enforce it, or because people just decided to not count the light?
Because the light didn't used to be there, so people just never.
So people just ignore it.
People just never started working with it.
That's not how cars work. You can't just ignore new intersections.
Yeah, so you can.
By the way, there's a lot of them on my drive now.
Yeah,
when I do the back roads, they just added like 5 more.
But you can, if you go straight from there, from that 4-way intersection, there's a turn that like for some reason exists, which is the most poorly designed turn I've ever seen. But it's like a perfect straightaway, and then someone was like, "We're not going to build houses there. Curve the road, and we're just going to go like a straight 90-degree down." So it just goes straight and then immediately just kicks to a 90 instantly. And so I was like, I could take that at 70 miles.
Did you like go boom?
No, I just...
Did you jump it?
No, I rode... I was basically doing Tokyo drifting, where I was turning... as I was turning, it was going 70, so I'm going 70 fine. Everything was okay until someone said, you're going... Like, watch out. And I thought they said watch out in the sense of there was something I was going to hit. Like like I was going to run over somebody or hit a car.
Those kinds of car moments are moments where I'm like, one person standing in the wrong spot just dies.
Yeah,
in the wrong situation.
And that's the thing. That's so
rough.
I thought someone was saying like, oh, there's somebody I'm gonna hit, and I was like, oh, I don't want to kill a person.
I've jumped my car once.
I mean,
that was a fun surprise.
I hit on the brakes, and then I realized like, oh, wait. Well, I guess I should have probably checked to see if there was something before I did it, because the moment you hit the brakes doing that, you lock them. Those brakes are set in stone, and they're saying, no more turning. You're going whatever direction you press these brakes in. And that was a perfect angle to just bap right the side of the street, and the car hit it, went up, down, and broke the axle.
Fun.
I was the only one not wearing a seatbelt, because I don't wear seatbelts. Everybody else is wearing seatbelts, got really hurt. They got super hurt. I went, and I was like, oh, that was scary.
I don't think you get to high ground in this situation.
Oh, I do. Because all of them...
You literally did it.
No, because they're the ones who told me to watch out. And
but you're the one driving badly.
No, I wasn't. I was making the turn.
If you drive well, then you can't get into these problems in the first place.
Exactly.
You literally made the bad driving happen.
No,
you can't pretend to not be responsible as the driver.
I was driving
being
fine.
An accident.
I made the turn.
That didn't feature any other cars.
Exactly. I made the turn. The turn would have been successful.
Your description of your turn was, I was Tokyo drifting.
I was.
That means you were driving very badly.
No, I was driving. I was driving.
There's no form of that that's even legal.
I was driving flashly. But
you were crashing in style.
No, because I would not have crashed had I not locked my brakes. I would have made the turn.
Buzz Lightyear motherfucker.
I would have made the turn just fine. But some asshole who got injured because of his asshole mistake, who said, watch out, because assuming that I was
Some kind of lunatic said, watch out, when his driver was surprised Tokyo drifting.
Because I'm a good driver, and I can handle my car. I
did jump my car once.
How?
I was in the back roads of all the farms and shit like that, and there's this one spot where the street like really spikes up vertically for a second there for a railway.
Oh yeah,
one of those moments
where it like goes
lump.
up. Yeah, for the hump.
And I was going relatively fast, and I didn't quite slow down soon enough, and I just jumped. I was like, oh, I left the ground.
Yeah,
that's not supposed to happen. It's
kind of fun.
I'm afraid of that intersection now.
It's kind of funny when you...
I definitely just every single time I'm like, not fucking this up again. That could have been bad.
I like it because you get that weird sense of like, you go up in the air and you're like, oh, the car's up in the air. But then suddenly your butt rises from the driver's seat and you're like, oh, I'm in the air.
And also that really fucks with your ability to operate the brakes and the gas when you're floating.
Yeah.
It kind of inherently are supposed to be in the seat for that whole part to work, really.
God, cars are so much fun. You can do a lot of stupid shit.
Until they're very abruptly not.
I did that with when they were building the new homes around here. I jumped. They built that little like cul-de-sac, but they didn't build homes yet in the cul-de-sac. So I jumped from the cul-de-sac curb down into another cul-de-sac. So it was like I jumped down because they were like going to build a house. So there's the foundation for the house, and then there's a drop where the backyard would be that then leads to the next cul-de-sac below. And so I just was like, whoop, boop, jumped off the cliff and then jumped into the bottom one. I was like, that was awesome. That's like the stuff you see in movies, and it was amazing.
Oh, Jesus. There's something liberating about driving off roads.
Yeah.
Like I got
fun.
I got stuck on the way to high school. I got stuck on the train tracks, and I was like, "Oh no, I've misjudged."
You're right there.
I had the moment where I've misjudged this, because I was like I can make it, I can't make it. And I was like, traffic stopped, and I was on the train tracks, so I drove off the road.
Oh, to get around.
Yeah, so I just drove off the road. I just went and parked in the like the gravel side shit for a while, like where it's like I'm like where I'm like 30 degrees sideways, because I had to get off the train tracks. The train was coming.
Oh, the train was actually coming.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you just said like you traffic just stopped.
When I meant I could make it, I meant like I thought I could make it because the arms were going down.
Oh no!
And I made it past the arms, but then
that.
they perfectly stopped. Last car stopped right at the edge. And I'm like, oh shit. So yeah, I had to drive onto like the 30-degree grade, like fucking gravel side area and just hang out there for a while, because I'm not going to stay in front of the train. It's like oh shit, that's scary.
That's awesome.
But also I'm like, hey, I'm just off the road right now. That's kind of neat. I guess you can always technically just do this.
Yeah, you could.
That's a weird feeling.
Yeah, most people just stay on the road.
Yeah,
it's safer.
Yeah. it's what's built that way. Yeah. Did I tell you? Have I ever told you my bullshit parking ticket that I still think is bullshit?
The most recent one.
I've only ever had one parking ticket. It was in college. Parking ticket.
Oh no, you might have told me.
Yeah, so I'm still mad about this to this day, because I was going to my college for the first time for orientation. Mm-hmm. The whole point is you don't know your way around college and shit like that.
Yeah.
And fucking Sac State has like 5 parking garages.
Okay.
And the instructions were like, yeah, just come up, you park in the parking garage, come on in. Like it was vague enough that me not knowing the school at least couldn't like make sense of it enough to know that there was like rules or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
So I park in a parking garage and I go to orientation all day, and then I go back to my car and there's a parking ticket on it, and I'm like, you fucks! I don't even care if it's the wrong building. You guys you guys even give parking tickets today on orientation day?
That is kind of scummy.
I don't think there even are classes that day. I think it's just orientation. So like you're kind of a fuckwad for even giving tickets that day, when the whole point is a bunch of people that don't know the campus are showing up. Are they like, oh, this is a red letter day, we're gonna get paid?
Yeah.
Like, is that their fucking scheme?
Probably.
Fuck those guys. Yeah, I got a parking ticket for parking on the wrong. You're supposed to go to a specific floor of a specific parking structure.
Yeah,
and I went to the wrong one, and I was like, so I got like a not cheap ticket of like, this is a great first impression for this school. But boy, was that only the beginning of them just taking all of my money. And I had it easy, as we talked about in the previous podcast, where I had like a bunch of ways where I had to spend way less money than a lot of other people did, and that's why I got through with no loans, and why I'm just like, even if I don't use my degree, I'm like, I'm not being punished for having gone to college the way so many of my friends are.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm free to do whatever the fuck I want because I don't have anything to repay.
Yeah,
I still haven't been in debt in my life.
That's nice. Debt sucks.
It's scary.
Yeah, it is very scary.
I'm happy to say that like while I don't make a lot of money, and I'm definitely not California rich where I can't afford to do shit here. Yeah, I can't afford to like even get a real living space that I pay for myself, as opposed to my weird setup I have now. Yeah, that's like a cheating at California. I am also not one of those people that we talk about statistically that have like less than 1,000 in their bank account and shit like that. That like living like I'm.
Well, you're like you can manage your money, but it doesn't mean that you're. I'm
in like the upper echelon of people. Well, as far as whether or not they have money set aside, so they don't just fucking die one day the moment something goes wrong.
Yeah.
But I do not make money. It's not. I definitely don't make enough money to make forward progress in it.
Yeah, that's.
I think I guess that's what's actually happening. Is I'm like between tiers essentially. Like I'm making more money than I need to for what I'm at right now, but still not enough to upgrade. Yeah. And so the overflow is just kind of adding up, but that still doesn't mean anything, because even if the overflow adds up, you can't spend that on a thing that will increase your bills, because the overflow goes away the moment you increase your bills, and then you're like, oh fuck, turns out I have negative income now.
That's the thing, is like a lot of people take the dive and hope that they can
just make more money by the time that catches up with them,
or they just force it.
That's exactly the thing I'm too scared to do.
I mean, it is.
I'm almost certainly gonna have to move to just a cheaper state at some point, and then I'll just have a better life.
I mean, it'll
be easier when all of my friends finish moving away. which has been just the last 3 years of my life has been every single one of my friends moving away one by one. And so I'm like, I guess all that's left here is keeping me here is all my relatives that are also planning on moving.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, both sides of my parents, both of my parents are planning on moving.
Out of the state?
Yeah, out of state, because, you know, it's easier to retire in a cheaper state and everything. And all my grandparents are just going to die in like this decade, probably.
They're all going to die someday.
I mean, statistically, it's amazing I have all of them.
It is, yeah.
Like, they'll probably die this decade, one way or another. And
I'm
like,
pretty sure mine...
They've all had close calls.
Really?
Holy shit. Yeah, my grandma's in the hospital on one side. My grandma's in the hospital all the time, just dealing with random things that come up that
the wares of getting old.
Just wares of getting old. Whereas the other one's the one you met that just has like constantly has cancer. Like he's had cancer as long as I've known him.
The person is like
he keeps trading off. Like he's like collecting cancer types
like
and he keeps beating cancer over and over again. But like
he's like inhumanly positive.
Yeah. He's so happy.
Like,
he's the nicest dude ever. He's got like 7 flavors of cancer and he's almost deaf and he's just having a jolly old time.
But he's just like he's like stuck with a permanent smile. Like I almost think that might be a cancer.
You're looking at him like just seeing him just have a good time.
Yeah, and he's like people are talking and he's not even.
He's like a human dog.
He's not in the conversation. He's just sitting there happily listening. Yeah, and he's just like.
Yeah. No, he's just he has the temperament of being like a human dog. Like he's great.
I was like,
he's so
what
much fun.
This person is like.
And he served in the military. Like he's gone through all this shit, and he's just making it work.
I mean, hopefully he outlives the Hunger Games of your grandparents.
Whereas on the other side of my family, my grandma had like major surgery for a life-threatening like heart thing that happened.
Spooky.
Like because she's very overweight and stuff, and that went through. And then my other guy, my grandpa on that side, he's supposed to be the healthiest of all of them because he's like the mega vegan and the Seventh-day Adventist and all this other dietary shit, and there's so much regulation. They all preaching health and like you know we could make your dog a vegan or all this other bullshit.
Yeah.
And he seems to be in great shape and everything like that, and seems to be healthy. He dropped a fucking car on himself. He dropped a truck on himself.
It was God's will.
He just almost catastrophically died one day. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was. It was exactly Jesus Christ.
They definitely took it as a like reaffirmation of faith moment where everyone's like, see, and God has saved him and all this other stuff is what was the takeaway of all that.
Saved him?
That was the takeaway, is that God saved him. So it just made everyone's faith stronger.
Was he in like life-threatening situation?
Well, the truck dropping on him.
But I mean, did he go to like the ER or
something? Oh, no, he didn't like, oh, that was close. This was like he almost died. And not like almost died like that was close, but almost died like as in like he was in the process of almost dying.
So the doctor saved him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But somebody had to be there to hear him and come save him, and so that was God's will. That's how
what
that works.
What the fuck does that mean?
There's always a place to fit God in somewhere.
Isn't God like
they find it?
Isn't God like omnipresent? Why couldn't God lift the car? Like, what the fuck kind of asshole just watched him almost die?
I think his wife found it, so that was the
That's
reason.
not God's will. She lives there. God damn it.
She does just live there.
She's at home. Like, what the fuck is that? They're old people, retired. What does that mean? That would be like if I fell down.
Not retired. They both work.
Well, you know what I mean.
She's a nurse.
They're like
my other grandparents are retired.
That'd be like if I fell down at home and my dog showed up. Like, thank God my dog showed up.
My grandparents that are a couple are retired. My grandparents that are divorced are both still working.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's a lot of.
I think my grandma that went into the surgery works at like a call center or something, or some kind of office.
Okay.
She has a cubicle office culture thing going on somewhere. I think she works for a government thing.
All right.
And I actually don't remember what my grandpa's job is.
Preaching.
I can't remember at all what it is. But his wife is a nurse.
Okay.
So she's not always home. But other shit. Blah.
Weird.
So there is like a serious like this. It's not going to be a fun decade.
I only have
one. Like between my dad being hospitalized multiple times and all of my grandparents being in the hospital, it's not going to be a great decade for me.
Yeah, I only have.
There might be, if we mysteriously don't have videos for a week at some point in the future, you might know why, because I might be going through some shit.
I feel like for some reason you'd still manage to find a way to have enough videos.
I mean, I might just have a backlog.
Yeah,
or not. I don't know.
You'd probably have a backlog. People wouldn't even know you were gone.
I mean, I might just have a backlog, and then I'll just take a break. I'm like, shit, my backlog's on. I don't know.
Then Andrew will be on the channel.
I've never had to deal with grief.
Would you have grief?
I've never grieved.
Well, I know,
like,
but I'm saying,
people
like,
go through grieving and shit like that, and all these things. Like the closest I've ever had was my dog.
Well, do you think that you're attached?
The worst death that's ever happened in my entire life was my yellow lab.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Because I've never even lost a grandparent.
How, like, what,
it's literally, like, it's foreign territory to me.
Do you think, are you, like, attached to them in a way, or, like, any of them in a way that you think you would grieve from their loss?
They've been there my entire life, so...
Well, that doesn't mean anything. It depends on how much you, like...
This is going to be one of those conversations where you're like, I don't have an empty bone.
I'm not being pedantic about it.
No, I'm not saying you're being pedantic. I'm saying, like, this is going to be, like, this is you being an alien, kind of.
No, I'm curious.
People care about their parents and their grandparents. Well, especially when they haven't, like soured the family and had like ruined everything by being a monster one day or something.
Sure, but
if you have a normal familial relationship, you're probably going to care when they die.
Okay, I'm just asking. Like, I have family members who have been dying like flies, and it doesn't matter to me because they're just family members I don't talk to. I don't really associate much with them. I see them like maybe once or twice a year. It doesn't matter. But, like, then you have other family members that are...
like flies.
Yeah, they're all, like... a lot of them are dying... I think a lot of them are dying from cancer, actually. I think, like, the majority...
A lot of people die of cancer.
A majority of my family is just dead from cancer.
Yep.
And that's cool. Because at least it's consistent. I'd rather it be that than, like, a smorgasbord of, like, all these other diseases, and I have to figure out which one I get.
Yeah,
So, like, if
you can have all of them, Andrew.
If it's just cancer, sign me up.
Collect them all.
I thought I had that the other day because I was like,
I mean, that's my fun concern. Yeah, is like trying to wonder which disease that my grandparents get that I get to worry about. And stuff.
Because I have like a big old lump right here. And
have you checked it out?
No.
Are you just going to ignore it?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Just going to ignore the weird lump by your lungs?
Yeah. It's not by the lungs. It's right here. Like, it's like right here. And it like keeps growing and I keep pushing on it. And I'm like, well, it doesn't feel like a tumor. So I guess it should be fine.
What do you think a tumor feels like?
I don't know. I feel like it should push back.
Because you don't know, right?
No.
Because you never like felt your like family's tumors or anything.
No.
I mean, they've had them apparently.
Yeah, but I didn't.
So, I mean, it's best to check these things out.
Well, I mean, worst case scenario, I'm sorry. Best case scenario, it's cancer and it kills me. Worst case scenario, it's cancer, but it's benign.
Or best case scenario, but it's benign. It's dangerous cancer that they just get out of you, and then you don't have cancer.
Get out of me how?
They excise cancer.
With what money will I be funding that surgery? Exactly. I'm just going to...
Back to square one. Hooray.
I'll just let it kill me because it's cheaper.
We could set up a GoFundMe.
Would I? No.
You could.
No, fuck no. I'm not
There might be people that are like, hey, I don't want Andrew to die.
Well, guess what? Too bad. I get to decide my own fate and I will give in to the cancer.
Why?
Why? Because there's no point. Like, what am I going to do? I'm going to waste my life fighting something that, like, I made it. I'm not going to fight it.
I mean, remission can be a long time. And also... What happened to your nihilism of like, we're all dying anyway, that's why I smoke, nothing matters. It's like, why not just chop out the cancer and go on through life for a while?
It doesn't matter.
Do you literally just give up on life the moment the first brush of death happens? Like, well, take me.
No, I mean,
I don't want another 20 years, fuck it.
No, I fought once. I didn't want to drown.
Is that when you're...
drowning sucks. I didn't want to do that.
I think the lesson of that, of you saving yourself from drowning, means that if you found out it was cancer, you might actually do something. But if you just can joke about it and abstract it and avoid the knowledge, then you might just let it kill you over time until it's too late.
I just don't like drowning. Like, it's something about water in your lungs. It doesn't feel good. I don't like, no.
This is the realest fucking podcast.
I don't like that.
What the fuck is this show?
Like,
what is the topics we go through?
Seriously, it's fine.
I've literally never encountered a podcast that works this way.
I mean, maybe that's why
just unironically talking about how we might be dying of something right now. I mean, and not in like the wow, isn't that crazy like stoner voice, but like no, right now, like, there's a lump.
Yeah, like right now, I have a lump,
and maybe I'll just ignore it. Fuck it.
I haven't. I mean, it's been there for like 2 months now, and it hasn't. I thought it was going to go away. Thought maybe it was swelling. It didn't go away.
Have you looked into the medical stuff in Dubai to know if it's better or worse?
Worse.
It's worse?
Yeah.
So it's literally something you should take care of now as opposed to later.
Well, I mean...
you're about to move to a place where you're even less likely to have medical treatment.
I will go and get a checkup and get shots and stuff that I need to get before I leave. To there.
So it'll be your afterthought, like as you're getting all your like immunization shots and stuff like that. Then you're like, by the way, there's like a lump where I might be dying right now.
Well, I mean, I have to
go.
Are
you just gonna hope it goes away before then?
I hope so.
Like it's a sty in your chest,
pretty much
chest sty.
But the idea is like, I think what I'll do is I'll probably go in a couple weeks. Probably like a month before I leave. I'll go into the doctor, get it checked out, see what it is. If it is cancer, well, too bad. If it's not,
it also could just be a cyst.
Yeah, if it's like something,
and then you just got to deal with that being drained, and then the very annoying process of the bandaging and everything and cleaning it and shit. My brother's had some. He had like a giant cyst in his back, where like they drain it and then they fill it with packing and shit like that.
What?
Yeah.
No.
It sucks.
I'll pass.
It sucks so bad.
Can it kill you?
I don't know. It can get worse and way more painful if you let it grow.
Painful?
Yeah.
It hurts?
Cysts can become very painful if you like let them grow and shit like that. It's better to just you get rid of it before it becomes a problem. But yeah, the process of dealing with it also is kind of painful.
It's kind of weird. You can like kind of
Jesus Christ.
I thought it was muscle at first.
Look at my death lump.
Yeah, I thought it was muscle because I was like, oh, maybe I fucked up somewhere when I was working out, and maybe it just
when you have a big enough cyst, they have to cut into and drain it manually.
Ugh.
And then they pack it. Because the problem with the cyst is that you now have you just have a fucking gap in your body.
Yeah.
Like it's not like a normal wound. You literally just have like a pocket of open shit in your body.
Yeah.
It's like when you get your molars ripped out or something like that. Like your wisdom teeth, I mean.
Oh yeah, they have to like sew it.
Yeah. And so they pack it with like gauze and shit like that to avoid like an infection and avoid it refilling. And they have to like change the bandages that are inside you. As the internal pressures of your body sort of slowly close it from the inside. And then when it like kind of fills in properly, then they sew it closed and it goes away. It's not a great time, and the sooner you get rid of it, the less of a hassle it is.
Yeah,
because the more you let it grow, the more you have to deal with the aftermath being way longer, and on top of the process of having it in the first place being painful. It's not great. It's one of those really bad news things that happens to your body, like kidney stone, where you're just like, no, I don't want to hear you. No, damn it. Why'd you have to say I have that to deal with now?
Drink more water.
Yeah, well, I just mean like whenever any of those...
No, I know. I'm just saying, drink more water,
just those
kids.
Various moments in life where you're just like...
It's good for you.
Oh, shit, just a bad news is happening, and it's unavoidable, and it'll only get worse the more I avoid it. Great. Good news.
Yeah. My plan is basically...
I've also never had to deal with any of those.
Yeah. What? Sis?
Any kinds of medical problems that are in those territory, period. I've never broken anything. Yep. I've never been sick in a way that mattered. I've only got like chickenpox and the flu.
Oh, okay.
And like that's it.
Yeah.
I've never broken anything. Never had any weird health problems. No stones. No thing.
I had strep throat once. That was like the extent.
My life is bullshit.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm fucking magic.
I've never had.
I got through college for cheap. Never been in debt. I've got some savings.
I've never done anything.
No deaths in my family. never had real sicknesses.
I guess I
had a sty in my eye once, but it wasn't even like one of the ones you get when you look up a sty on the internet.
Oh.
And it's like, oh my god, your whole eye turned red and shit. I literally had like a tiny lump inside of my eyelid. And I was annoyed about it existing, and I would kind of I did a thing where I'd take a heat. I took a bag. I filled an entire sock with rice.
Okay.
And then wrapped it in another sock, and I could microwave that, and it'd be a heat pad that lasts way longer than like a lot of other things you can heat, like a washcloth or whatever.
Okay.
And I tried to put that on my eye for a while, and I kind of just got bored and gave up on that remedy too because it just wasn't fucking working. But then one day I just realized, oh, it's gone. Like, one day, like a year later of not even thinking about it, at some point in the middle, it just disappeared.
Huh.
And that's the closest thing to any sort of, like, health thing.
I don't think I've ever had...
I just got fucked up teeth.
I never had any serious health issues. Like, I've never broken anything. I've never... Like, all of my medical problems were definitely self-inflicted.
And all of this medical information will be very useful for stealing our identities.
Not for me. I have like no medical records that would be
Because you don't go to the doctor.
Yeah, so I don't have
You
anything.
don't even know what you're dying of.
I don't.
You got triple emphysema.
Like every time they always do the thing where they're like, you should. Anytime I've gone for a checkup, they're always like, you need to do like actual checkups. Like you should probably go see make sure like your lungs are not bad, or you should get like X-rays and like make sure. And I was like, I could also just go buy a car. Like, why would I waste my money on medical stuff? Like, that's
Who wants to press that "Don't die" button? Not me.
I mean, why would I want to waste my money keeping myself alive? So then I can't do the things I would like to do to have fun in life.
This podcast has officially gone on for too long without us discussing the party and what happened afterwards. Like we somehow didn't get to this yet. I'm realizing like we're like 2 hours in, and we should really stop, but we should really get to that.
Yeah, so
that was like an event.
We went to a party for your aunts.
It was my aunt / somebody else that's also a family friend that also has a similar birthday, and they just merged them together. So there's way too many people I don't know in one place, and it was an outside only like barbecue thing
on the hottest day of the month.
It was the hottest day of the month. It was like at 104.
Yeah,
we were outside the entire time.
Yep.
It's not a great feeling.
It's fine.
I just felt like I was slowly baking to death.
You needed more water.
I was drinking water too, but like water can't fix everything. You can just be in a state of being too hot.
You were
for
drinking
a long time.
Spiked water.
Once I drank one spiked water. I drank I think we're drinking like 3 bottles of water too.
Yeah.
In addition to like a Sprite and a few other things.
Yeah.
I kept drinking things. I like to drink things when it's hot, so it's you don't have to convince me. It feels way better.
Yeah.
When it's really hot, when we first got to that water bottle spot, I just fucking downed it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even trying. It was just like it was just fucking smooth. It felt great.
Yeah.
It was just in me. But we got to. It was Andrew's first time meeting the vast majority of my family, including my mom for the first time ever, which is like, it's weird to think that we've known each other that long without even crossing paths once with my mom.
When we met, your parents were already divorced.
Yeah.
So there was no way I could meet your mom because she didn't live in town.
Yeah, because you met my dad a few times and stuff.
Yeah.
But,
he's the easy one to meet.
But we were just hanging out and drinking things. Andrew did a sweet kickflip in that one picture, where my mom was trying to sneak up us and take a picture, and we both very abruptly turned towards her because she was not sneaky at all, because she was approaching us from the front.
Yeah.
And I did what I usually do, is I usually make a completely nonsensical face. Not even like a wacky fun face, but just like I'm ruining this photo face. And Andrew like spread the fuck out and did a thumbs up or whatever, and he just looks like he looks like a freeze frame of Tony Hawk doing a kickflip on the cover of a video game. Like it's weirdly perfect.
I'm good at that.
And was that even on purpose at all? Like that was just a random thing you just did?
That's just the position I take.
You see the picture and you're like, huh.
Yeah.
Photoshop project incoming.
So I just do it was like this, I think. Or it was like this and
yeah.
Yeah.
But Andrew agreed to it on the idea like, hey, get out of the house in the middle of the hottest day and shit like that.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Because it might be better than dealing with this room and stuff.
Yeah.
But we came back to find out it was way better news that we had done that.
Yeah.
Because turns out right after we left, Andrew's entire area just went blackout and stayed that way well into the next morning or something.
Well, until 6 a.m. the next morning.
Yeah, like it just stayed out. So we came home and we're like, we're gonna record Let's Tries, which I did this at the beginning of the C4 Let's Try. I was like, I just got home from 104-degree weather and not recording with Andrew because the power was out. I'm so tired, but the show must go on. Like we just stood out in the street arguing with Billy about Star Wars lore or some nonsense as the sun slowly went down.
We basically argued about a bunch of nonsense.
It's actually a really fun day. We just sat there and just talked in your driveway until the sun went down.
It felt like being in school again.
Yeah.
Where you're like, I don't have anything to do until sundown.
When you're just sort of trapped. Like, hey, the bus has just dropped us off and class hasn't started yet. We're just stranded here. Let's all talk on the quad for an hour.
I think
that kind of shit.
The moment you left,
that was a fun time.
Me and Billy basically spent the entire night just discussing apocalypse scenarios.
Yeah, because while we were there too, we were talking about like how long is the power out before like apocalypse sets in? Basically,
how long can we live without technology before
like
Americans go mad?
A few houses down the street, they had power.
They did.
Like how long do you go without power before you just kill those people and take their house to end their power? It started, and you guys were like bugging power. You were like bogarting power off each other or whatever the fuck. We're like, Like, because like Billy wanted to vape, but he couldn't vape because he needed to charge his vape.
Yeah,
and then,
so I had my
like,
backup battery.
I've got my backup battery over here. Like, oh, look at people coming together in time of crisis. It's just like Katrina.
Wow, that is very, very not accurate. not accurate.
It was just. So people are suddenly outside and resource sharing. I got to meet like 6 of your neighbors.
Yeah,
because everyone kept coming outside to talk to each other and stuff. Yeah. You were like rushing to like consume popsicles before they melt. Did they melt? The rest of them?
All of them.
They all melted. Yeah.
I woke up.
I really should have had one.
Yeah.
Man. That was.
Everyone should have had one. I offered one to everyone, and no one wanted popsicle. Even the power person.
I just kind of set it aside, like, that's funny, but like, they are just gonna melt, aren't they?
Yeah.
It was hot.
It was hot.
It was hot.
Inside the house was close to like 98.
So I guess you and Billy stayed outside in the dark for like hours and hours because like it was so hot in your house you couldn't sleep.
It was what was it? It was 38 degrees Celsius outside, which is about like 88 degrees Fahrenheit. At night.
And that was like probably like 2 a.m. or something?
No wind. Not a single breeze. So we had, in my house, I had all the windows open, including the doors.
Mm-hmm.
And
but no breeze to save you.
No breeze to save me.
So it's probably was hotter indoors than outdoors.
Yeah.
Because
it would have been better to sleep outside. And you know what?
Because we came home from the party and we're like, hey, let's go record some Let's Tries and shit. Because we were having an unscheduled extra day of being around each other because of the party. And like with the moment we walk in the house, we're like, it smells bad in here. And that was like the first clue that like the power was out and something was wrong in the house in general, because the air conditioner had been off, which meant no air was circulating, which meant we just smell your full garbage can basically. Yeah. Because there was no air circulation, we could just smell it throughout the house basically. And it's like that was like the first little like canary in the coal mine. Then you walked around, you're like, there's no power in this house.
Well, because I opened the fridge and the fridge light wasn't on. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I guess it must have went out or something. So I pressed. There's like a little button you could press and it turns on the light in case sometimes it fucks up. And I was like, boop, 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 boop. Uh-oh. And then I closed the fridge and I looked over to my oven and my oven clock was off. And I was like, uh-oh.
It was the most surreal. It was the most surreal thing when you see the pictures you posted of like, here's my street. And it was the middle of the night and it's just black. Like it's just dark. And you look left and right, and there's just streets. Like six houses down either direction. There was just lights.
Yep, there's just lights.
Like, but normal society was happening everywhere, but right there.
Yeah, but the worst part is like,
almost like it was a pocket experiment.
Even the like, I don't have street lights either. Mm-hmm. So like the whole chunk of houses that lost power are just pitch black. And the worst part, too, is that every one of those houses...
It's like a place that's been taken out for black ops. Well, they're going to go from house to house and clear them out.
Every person in those homes left.
They all just left?
Yeah, they all went somewhere else.
Yeah,
my neighbors...
I saw the people across the street leave. They went in for a little while... clearly trying to just make the best of it, and then half an hour they just got picked up and they just left. Probably go like a family, somebody else's house or something.
And Billy's family did that because Billy's freaking grandparents live at the end of the street and they have power. And I was like, what the fuck? And then
because you just like it's so hot you can't sleep.
Yeah, and so everyone else
way too hot for sleeping.
And everyone else is older, so they just all left to a hotel, and so it's just me and Billy. Left alone on the street with like, I guess we own this place now. Like everyone left, it's ours.
Oh my god, it really was like The Girl Who Owned the City. Like that book just happened around you, and you just were there with a bunch of abandoned houses you could all like scavenge through.
So basically,
as the apocalypse continued,
all that happened was like me and Billy just sat there and got like incredibly high, and then just shouted for hours that PG&E wasn't outside. We were just like, where are they? Get the fuck here and fix your shit. And like, just being a nuisance, but there was no one around to be upset.
You can find Billy in our Jackbox series and our Yogg series.
Yeah, he's also in the YouTubes. Viking series?
No.
Yeah?
No, that was Yumi and Max. That was a 3-player game.
Right. Never mind.
Billy was in our defunct Diablo series.
He was in that. That's what it was.
That was Max. Lewis. That was Max, Billy, Lewis, and oh my god, wasn't
Sean?
No,
Joe.
Holy shit! How am I forgetting these people's names?
Which one?
This is the other guy with the brown hair and glasses that you drew the same as all the other ones. Not Sid. Not Lewis.
Will?
Will.
Okay.
Will. Holy shit, I just lost the name. I was like, no, these are my friends.
These are my friends. I've lost them.
Yeah, that was Will, Lewis, Max, and Billy. Because we tried recording. Oh, that was a mess.
Yeah.
So we were recording Diablo 3 local co-op, which is so fucking fun to play locally on one screen together, and it's actually cooperative.
Yeah.
Because if you play Path of Exile or Diablo or anything online, the screen size versus movement speed is so messed up that like you just lose the other players constantly, and it's like it feels like you're barely in the same world because of how fast everyone's running around and like one-shotting monsters and crap. It's just not very interesting to play compared to that, which was like playing Gauntlet. It was great.
Yeah.
But we recorded like 3 sessions worth of time, like a big old chunk of recordings, and somehow the middle one went missing. Like we lost the middle recording. I think it's because you used BitSync and you were not doing safe file practices of copying them into BitSync. You were just throwing them in there, and somehow it vanished, and we just lost it. So we brought in, I think we brought in Will and Lewis to record like the middle chapter or something, or as vice versa.
Yeah.
We brought in another couple of friends to re-record the middle chunk in a new file so that we could then pick up the continuity of the other file with the other friends, basically, and just do the whole playthrough. But instead, those 2 recordings were the only time we ever recorded, so it didn't even amount to anything. We were having a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun,
and that's where you can meet a lot of those friends. It's good. I've actually rewatched it before. It's good commentary.
Is it?
It's fun dialogue.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I re-uploaded it during Archive Week.
I remember.
My channel, where, like, it's just fun conversations. There is the one time though that it's the infamous Max moment.
Well, I was also thinking
he answers the phone on the mic.
Yeah.
He just answers his phone on the mic, sitting in front of the microphone, and doesn't walk away or anything. I'm like, Max, do you not understand any of what's happening here? Like,
wasn't Kel also in the background for some of those?
He might have been. Kel was just dwelling around.
Yeah, I think
he was rarely in our videos, but he would just wander around in the background,
playing with Monster Hunter,
being all spooky.
But yeah, Billy's in those. But yeah, we just had a fun time. We just shot the shit for hours until it was like until they showed up finally to repair it, because that was our stance.
You start shouting at them?
Well, no, we were shouting, and then we saw this like kind of big old truck pull up, and then it parked like at the end of the street and just turned off all lights. No one got out. It just stopped, and we kind of were like, I think that's the utility truck, isn't it? Why aren't they getting, like, what are they waiting for? And then like this parade of other trucks showed up, like a lot of trucks, and one of them was like a giant crane, and it like showed up, set up shop, and it was like pulling out boxes, and it was like, we should probably go inside, this is getting intense. And they like started blocking off the street, and we were like, oh my god. But
well, there was nobody to come through anymore apparently.
Well, no, but you know, poor me and Billy still have to like sleep there, so we were like, oh god. So we just kind of like shuffled back, like Zoidberg shuffled back to our homes, like and they just like closed the doors, and we're like, all right, just go to sleep. But no, power kicked on at like 6 a.m. woke both of us up, because
dude, I recently had the most intense bout of jealousy.
Jealousy?
Yeah. Like I went on Facebook, which is always a mistake, kind of. But I'm just so used to everyone's story of like how fragmented everyone's friendships became after high school. Mm-hmm. Like everyone just vanishing, and you sort of find new friends, and that's just like how so many people have gone since then. I fucking go on and I look at an old friend of mine, or it wasn't specifically an old friend of mine. It was somebody I knew that, and he was always like a drama kid and stuff like that, and he actually is in LA doing stage plays and so on, like stuff like that. He's an actor now.
Okay.
And I look at his like wedding photos of a wedding he was at, and I'm like, fuck, it's all of them. Like, it's like all of the people that were from that overall group from back then in high school, and it was like 12 recognizable faces all together, like 12 years after high school ended, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, some people can do that.
They've all maintained touch this entire time.
Yeah, some people can pull that off. Bitch. It takes a lot of commitment and dedication, but like, yeah, that's
real neat shit.
You could stay friends.
One of them, and one of the people in the picture is someone that the audience might recognize abstractly as being the person that was behind that one song I used in The Surge. When I was like, hey, this is a song from a band of an old friend of mine from high school and stuff like that. Like, that was the one. Oh. Because that's I really like that song. Did you ever encounter the Down at the Gallows band?
No.
That song, Searching for Hope. I did actually back in the early days when we had no quality control of our content. Sometimes we play music games and play like a random song where you put the song in.
Yeah.
Like, I think in 3 different games I played that song, Searching for Hope.
Really?
Yeah, because it's just a fun song to play in various music games and see how they reacted to it when they tried to generate the level or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I did that for definitely Audio Surf and probably Beat
Hazard?
Beat Hazard, probably. But those are probably gone now. But Once Upon a Time... those were all moved to the music channel, actually.
Oh,
right. Yeah, we moved all that to Johnny Napalm.
Yeah.
That channel that lived for like a week.
I forgot about Johnny Napalm.
Yeah. Our side project channel where we just made Johnny Napalm, where we uploaded...
yeah, those like Rock Band videos and shit.
Yeah, I uploaded all of my old Rock Band footage because I had a...
Because that was during like the YouTube copyright, like they were going around like just taking
So I uploaded
shit.
I uploaded all my old Rock Band videos to it, and the random music videos from our channel. You started uploading a bunch of Boom Boom Rocket videos.
Yeah.
And I even uploaded a couple of karaoke Revolution songs or something. I don't know. That was a thing. For,
And
then we lost interest really quickly.
Yeah.
On the whole idea.
Is the channel still up?
Yeah, I think so.
Nice.
I just always I like music games a lot.
Yeah.
But they're completely incompatible with what we do.
Yes.
In part because they're so concentration heavy, and also because you're not allowed to do them half the time because of copyright issues. So to keep our content safe, we put them on a separate channel for that purpose.
Yeah.
So that if the thing did get nuked or whatever, it'd go down, or that'd be their problem.
Yeah, the loss is like Johnny Napalm.
And it's Johnny Napalm because that's the name of the punk rocker from Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
Yeah. Johnny Napalm.
I forgot about that channel, man. Johnny Napalm.
Every now and then I forget Every now and then I remember Sit and Discuss as a channel.
It's still there.
Yeah. Just weird defunct content that was never great.
No, but it
Although
exists.
you can find the duck story.
Oh yes,
Your duck story you told during one of the podcasts.
I have a lot of duck stories.
Where you were afraid of the Berryessa ducks, and you're like, I'm gonna fight back.
Well, they framed me for murder.
But I've been hesitating, but I've been keeping the tab open. I've just been hovering over the idea of that actor guy. He has a podcast.
What actor guy?
The one from my high school.
Oh yeah,
he has a podcast. And I've just had the tab open for a while, and I'm like just hovering over, like, do I listen to it? Because it'd be a fucking weird trip to listen to a podcast.
Are you talking about Lutheran?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit! You know Kel, so of course you know about the Lutheran. Yeah.
You're talking the Hustle.
Yeah, the
Hollywood Hustle.
Yeah, the Hollywood Hustle. I'm just like, I haven't heard his voice in like 10 years.
Oh really?
That really fuck with me to watch that. And I'm just like, yeah, of course you would know him because of Kel. Because Kel and Lutheran constantly hanging out. But yeah, he has a wedding picture where like it's Lutheran and it's Ryan and Craig and like a bunch of other people. Craig is down at the gallows. Do you know Craig?
No. I don't know Craig.
Now we're just talking about names that the audience doesn't know.
Yeah.
But the part where next to them
I know
is,
what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Because we went through all of high school.
I was thinking of different
We went through like all of middle school and high school being like one Kevin Bacon away from each other. And just didn't fucking cross that bridge ever.
Yep. Pretty much. Pretty much. Also, for those wondering, so we were talking about the story of the party. This thing that you're watching, this happens in real time all the time. Like, this podcast doesn't stop happening just because we're not recording.
Yeah.
Like,
no, yeah. No, the whole time that the power was out, I'm like, we can't record any of this.
No. Well, we could have actually. I had my...
Yeah, we could have kind of recorded it. We could be a camera only and hope for the best, I guess.
No. I had the mic thing, my portable mic.
Yeah. But yeah, like,
I could have plugged these into
it. This is just our conversations.
Yeah.
Like, every day, there's like an hour of deleted scenes that no one ever gets to see.
Technically, I guess. Because it's just unrecorded content.
Which I mean, like, we have basically this type of conversation for like an hour during like your smoke breaks and shit like that.
It's just, because your mom said that. She made that comment about the fact that we, like, were talking, and she's like, yeah, you guys...
Oh, yeah. She was picking up on our... Yay! Yay! His phone's making sounds. That means the recording stopped on the phone. Again, I can't wait to find out how long the recording's been. Anyway, that's a good place to end the podcast. Anyway, my mom said we had good chemistry is basically the takeaway of that story. And it's almost like we've been doing a show with each other for 7 years. Like, that might be indicative in some way. Anyway, see you guys next time. If you want to do the podcast, the P.O. box, you got to get in there. Because Andrew's going to move in a few months, and then it's not going to be valid anymore, and say goodbye. And if you want to send in questions, maybe we'll answer them next time. We keep opening it, but then we get stuck on discussions for too long. But we'll get through our podcast backlog.
We'll get there.
We do answer them. especially the dumb ones.
Yeah.
Except for when they're too dumb.
It looks like...
Don't send us shitty inside jokes. Those aren't questions.
Looks like for some reason the phone overheated.
For some reason?
Warning, temperature too high to use camera. Wait for phone to cool down before using camera, which I didn't know was a thing could happen.
Anyway, see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'm waving at nothing because there's not a camera over there because they're holding it and it's off. Yeah.